This is not over.
I felt when we stared down, I felt his right hand was twitching a little bit, but it was a subtle tell for me. He is ready to unload that right hand, but I feel that could be a downfall for him. If he lets that right hand go, I will not be there.
We're in to take over. Oh my God! Surprise, surprise, the king is back.
Max is a durable fighter with great skill.
Oh my goodness! I'm him, guys. They're all dressed like me. They're all trying to talk like me. They're all trying to be me. I'd like to take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody. If one of us goes to war, we all go to war.
Out of Dublin, Ireland, the one, the only, the notorious Conor McGregor.
You're blessed that I chose to whoop your ass next.
The wait is almost over. It's been 1,827 days since Conor McGregor has fought. 5 years, almost to the day, and he is indeed back. And so are we inside T-Mobile Arena, the fight capital of the world, Las Vegas, Nevada, UFC 329. Here for the next hour, Brent Stover alongside Chael Sonnen, Rashad Evans. Back in 2013, 13 years ago when these two met the first time, you headlined the card. Did you have any idea at that moment that Conor McGregor would become a global sensation?
I was feeling it with Conor. Rashad, I get to this press conference. I'd fought for world championships. I'm the head guy on the poster. And all the questions start coming into this guy named Conor McGregor. He's up there in a cheap suit. He's got the bow tie. Remember that look, Conor? He's got the glasses. But then I look out at the audience, and there's a bunch of guys dressed like Conor. Dana was holding a contest, a Conor McGregor look-alike contest. But all of a sudden I start realizing something's happening. And it's happening with this young man who was only 1-0 at the time, now first ballot Hall of Famer.
You have certainly covered a lot of massive fights, including McGregor fights in the past for CBS Sports. How does this one stack up being here this weekend?
I will say this is probably the top, and I will say that because of the questions around it. We just do not know what Conor we're going to get. We know that he's motivated. We know that he is focused, and he's different than we've seen him before. There's just something different. And we've seen fighters go on and say, I've done this different in camp. And, sometimes it's believable, sometimes it's not. But something is just definitely different about this version of Conor.
All right, we will momentarily, of course, break down the X's and O's. We've got 60 minutes to hype up this fight and all the other fights on this huge card. But let's go Max Holloway. In his career, big picture, what has been your favorite moment so far?
Oh, my favorite Max moment was actually the first night that he fought Conor McGregor. To set the stage, Max was 0-1. He'd lost to an unnamed talent known as Dustin Poirier. Max was the youngest guy under contract with the UFC. Now, when I meet Max, we're all in line getting ready to weigh in, and he is coming up to every single person, getting selfies, getting autographs, telling everybody what a fan is. By the way, at 0-1, he thought he might be washed out of the organization. He thought, hey, I might take a bump here, and I'm going to be all done. So he wanted to get these autographs in. I only say that the humility and humbleness in Max hasn't totally left him. Max is still a fan, and he still shows tremendous respect.
Rashad, same question for you. Your favorite moment so far in Max Holloway's career?
I got to go for one of those more recent fights with Justin Gaethje, and I say that at that moment because we've seen Max fight for a long time. We've seen his ups, we've seen his downs, we've seen the very best of him, but we haven't seen it all, and that was that power that he had with Justin Gaethje. We knew that Max had the ability to take people into deep waters. We knew that he had the ability to drown you with his offense and his volume, but we didn't know he had that one-hitter quitter. Chael, it's different when you hit somebody with that one-hitter quitter.
One of the most entertaining fights, really, in recent memory in the UFC. So let's go the other side. Conor McGregor, there's a ton to pick from. Your favorite moment in his career to this point.
All right, now this is a personal story, but I'm interviewing Conor. It's my first time meeting him, and we're in an octagon. They actually set the this up on campus. His then girlfriend went on to be fiance and now wife is named Dee. I say to Conor, hey, because she's right outside, I want to be able to say hello to her, and I'd met her before, but I forgot the name. I said, hey, what's her name? And he goes, what? And I said, your fiance, what's her name? And he goes, what? And to this day, I don't know what he thought I was saying, but we're now this close. And I repeated it the exact same way. Your fiance, what's her name? He goes, oh, Dee. And he turned and walked away. I don't know where we were about to go in that moment, though, I got to tell you.
Rashad, that's going to be a tough story to top here.
Man, I got to say, when he beat Eddie Alvarez in New York City, Eddie was a good friend of mine. I knew how good Eddie was at that time. And for him to become double champ, it was truly something of a great performance. But more or less, it really made all the champions realize that just being a champion wasn't good enough. You had to dream bigger. Now the new standard for being an excellent, dominant champ was no longer just dominate division. You had to go up and get another belt and dominate another division.
He is a global superstar unlike any we have ever seen in the fight game. Conor McGregor back for the first time in 5 years inside the octagon. Coming up later on tonight, this indeed is the calm before the storm as we go to break. It is UFC 329, the pre-fight show, live from McGregor Holloway 2. Up next, we break down the X's and O's for the biggest fights of UFC 329 inside T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas.
All right, fellas, the long-awaited return of Conor McGregor is back, taking on Max Holloway. I know what the odds suggest. The odds suggest that Max Holloway is going to win this one, probably convincingly. What do you think? Chris, I'll start with you.
Man. Well, I would say first, if you're a big Conor fan, go back and watch the first Conor McGregor fight against Max Holloway that happened a long time ago, because it'll make you feel good about your pick, because Conor did dominate the fight. He won 30-27 on two judges' scorecards and 30-26 on one judge's scorecard. It's complete domination. Plus, he had a torn ACL, I think, from the second round going into the third. He looked great. But all that being said, he has one win in the last 9 years. He's been out of the octagon for 5 years. He's coming off of one of the worst injuries in the history of the sport. And I can tell you, from having that same injury, it's very hard to come back from. It's hard to have confidence in your kicks again. It's hard to be able to move the way you want. But every one of those injuries is a little bit different. And if anybody could do it and come back with pure confidence, it is Conor McGregor. But to come back against one of the most biggest volume punchers in the history of the sport, a guy with the most significant strikes in the UFC, it's going to be a tough undertaking, and we'll see how comfortable he is in there after being out for so long.
What does Conor have to do to try to get his hand raised?
Knock him out early, let him feel the power, and take advantage of it. If he catches him by surprise, jump on him and take him out. I definitely feel that as the fight goes longer, it's going to lean heavily towards Max. As we all know here, to get that fighting premium jet fuel gasoline takes a lot of effort, work, sacrifice, the timing as well, just everything. And if you're not living that lifestyle, I don't give a who you are, not even John Jones, nobody. It doesn't matter who you are. This sport is not kind to nobody unless you're kind to the sport, unless you're in there getting after it. I don't believe he's been getting after it all these years, so I'm going with Max by decapitation.
I think that's like the biggest question mark, is how comfortable is Conor going to be in there, inside that cage, under those lights, and how is his cardio going to hold up? He's struggled in the past with cardio issues.
And Max has also got to feel confident, because he fought him in his prime. Max was 19, 20 years old, and now time has gone by, and he's got the more experience now. He's been the one in there grinding. He's seen Conor fall off, so I think mentally, too, Max is going to be in a really good space.
Max Holloway, Conor McGregor, UFC 329. We'll see you guys there.
The wait is almost over. McGregor versus Holloway 2 is finally here. Before we break down the X's and O's, let's hear from both fighters in this main event later on tonight.
I can destroy Max inside 10 seconds. I have knockouts inside 3 seconds on my fighting record. I have Hall of Fame fighters, multiples, Hall of Fame UFC fighters, defeated and destroyed, both together in under a minute. And I can add Max to that. However, don't get it twisted. If we go into these deep waters, Max is going to be in a lot of trouble, badly concussed.
What happened the first time? What happened the first time?
What happened the first time?
Yeah.
You were left in a wheelchair.
You shot
That's what happened the first time.
You shot.
Once you go back, you don't go back.
Well, the tale of the tape between these two absolute superstars. This rematch, of course, 13 years in the making. McGregor, Holloway, 2. Chael, you had 2 years between your Anderson Silva rematch. Rashad, 4 years between your Tito Ortiz rematch. Chael, start with you. Who's got the advantage in the second matchup?
Okay, so I almost don't count the first one, only in that it was a different game, right? If you change one rule to a game, you've changed the sport. That was a 3-round atmosphere. This is a 5-round atmosphere. Now, I only say that because Max is very confident these extra rounds are going to serve him well. The audience and the bet makers agree with Max. However, Conor can't get him out of there. Conor does have this power, and Conor in the first contest was okay with a long, drawn-out evening and going to the judges. Tonight he is not. He is very aware of what the task is. He is very aware. Put my foot down, hope that there's nothing left standing. That is the difference.
When I fought Tito Ortiz at that point in my career, I was feeling like a fight god. You know, I was just feeling like I can't be beat, and I had that confidence going into the fight. Now, in my fight with Tito, I was like, I need to make him remember what it was like at the end of that first fight that we had. So the first thing I wanted to do was put that pressure on him, and that's what Conor's going to have to do. Even though it was 13 years ago, he needs to go out there and he needs to make him remember what it was like in the cage with them the first time around. He needs to have posture. He needs to have poise. He needs to go out there and have that smart pressure he had the first time around.
And when we're talking about Conor McGregor, again, it was 13 years ago, but play along with me here. He certainly had the striking advantage before he suffered the knee injury. Obviously ended up getting the job done. Is there any way you can see a scenario where he's got the striking advantage tonight?
I can early. Now, Conor had a great left hand. He still has this wonderful left hand, but it was still new. Conor, you know, I talk about that Max was 0-1. Conor was 1-0. We didn't have much footage on him. We didn't know how to study him. He hadn't done the Floyd Mayweather and the boxing. I tell you, Conor's got a great left hand. However, he has an exact number of 3 ways that he sets that up. Max didn't know that. Conor had the element of surprise and still did not land that big shot. So when I hear about puncher's chance, the puncher's got a better chance when you don't know him, and that's in the first fight. Max now knows what he's getting into. I think that could be very helpful for Blessed.
And I think he didn't have the left hand, but in that fight, he showed that he had more than a left hand. He really opened up with a plethora of different techniques, including something we rarely see him in later fights with the wrestling aspect of things. He wrestled in that fight. He kept Max off battle. So what he needs to do is he needs to do the same thing. He needs to make sure that he keeps Max off balance, be able to make sure he uses striking, also mix in some takedowns. Be unpredictable. Be unpredictable, and then he'll be able to find that left hand because Conor does a good job of pulling you into his punches, and he's going to need to pull Max in to land that big left hand.
The big question all week long has been the cardio of Conor McGregor. Is there any part of you that feels like he can keep up with the work rate of Max Holloway in this fight?
No, I think it's a real problem. And listen, Max brought that up, and Conor really lost his cool a couple of times. Why do I say that? I've had guys lie about me. It doesn't really do much to me. It's when the guy tells the truth, when the guy was able to study my tape and find the weaknesses, find the character flaws as a competitor. Those embarrass us. Conor is embarrassed about some of his cardio problems he's had in the past, and coming off of this injury, it's not a matter of discipline. It's not a matter of am I willing to go to the gym. He simply could not go to the gym for a meaningful amount of time. These stories are changing. It sounds like he's a little less than a year preparing for this. I don't know that that's enough. No, championship rounds are not good for McGregor.
I'll tell you, and to your point, you know, as a fighter, you know where your weaknesses are, and you're kind of insecure about them, and it makes you have a little bit more anxiety on fight night because you have those insecurities. You would train hard as you can in training just because you fear what will happen if you run out of gas. It's the scariest place in the world to be out there and have 2 more rounds to go, and you only have like 1 minute left in your tank as you feel. So what Conor's going to have to do is he's going to have to go out there. He's going to have to fight hard. He's going to have to fight with efficiency, but he's going to have to try to get Max out of there early because there's a big difference between training cardio and fight cardio. The anxiety, the excitement of it all steals the air out of you, so Conor's going to have to understand that's going to happen, and he's going to have to embrace that adrenaline dump where you feel tired and you feel like, you know what, I'm cash, and keep pushing through.
Again, take it for what it's worth, but 13 years ago in the first matchup in the 3rd round, Conor was able to out-wrestle his opponent in Max Holloway. Is there any part of you, Rashad, that sees it tonight where he will try to take it to the ground or at least up against the fence in the clinch? Anything like that from Conor?
You know, I don't see it, but I wish that he would do that. I think that would be a good thing for him because it's something unexpected. Nobody's going to expect Conor to engage in any kind of grappling exchanges. And here's the thing. He doesn't necessarily even need to get Max to the ground. He just needs to show that he's trying to do something different other than land his big punch. If he does that, it's going to add another thing that Max has to worry about. And then by adding another thing, it ups his chances of landing his big left hand.
What do you think, Chael?
The great strikers that end up coming to our sport and getting upset or surprised. I'll use one of Rashad's training partners, but Tyrone Sponge. One of the things about that is the threat of the takedown, not necessarily the takedown. So to Rashad's point, if Conor could just go out there and make Max guess, if he can go out there and show him these movements early, and we don't have to stop with the grappling and the clinch, by the way. We can add some of those spinning kicks. We can add some of those high kicks that McGregor does. We can add some of the posturing and just the mannerisms that make Max look at it and go, okay, that's not quite was I expecting. Get him doing that math. And if you fear the takedown, that's when those strikes open up.
All right. We're going to go to break with this as we get predictions. In 2026 in the UFC, in the numbered events, underdogs are 5-1 to this point. Gaethje was the last big one, clearly, at the White House early on in June. So who are you taking with that in the back of your mind? Who are you taking in this fight?
Man, I'm going to be getting killed by a lot of people saying, "Oh, Rashad doesn't know fights. He just goes with the flow." But you know what? I got to go with Conor in this one. I know. The math, it doesn't make any sense, but there's something about his journey and where he is right now that's making me believe that he can do it. And maybe it's me wanting to believe because the version that I see of Conor today is a Conor of gratitude, and it's one that realizes that he had all the gifts in the world. He had everything, and to see if he can just salvage it and not waste what he called God's gifts and God's opportunity.
And I think that Max, I just think that, look, for Conor to win, he not only has to do something that no fighter has ever done, he's got to do 3 things. He's got to come back after a 6-year layoff into a 5-round atmosphere and look good. He's got to return to a weight class higher than his prime, and he's got to come back after a compound leg fracture. Anderson Silva and Chris Weidman, who had the same injury, combined never won again. It is really a tough injury. You second-guess yourself mentally before we even get to the physical aspect of it. I have Max Holloway.
But this weight class here certainly is better for Conor, right?
I think so, especially coming back after being away for so long. It's one that he can kind of fight at his more natural weight. And Chael knows when you're in training camp and you're a few weeks away from the fight, you're at a heavier weight and you feel good, you feel great. But then as training camp goes on and you got to lose weight, your performance starts to dwindle down a little bit. Now imagine if you can actually go into a fight feeling how you do in the beginning of the camp when you have that extra weight. I think that's what these guys are going to be feeling the fight tonight.
Not just at this weight, but could you also make the argument, and again, you're picking Holloway, and most people will pick Holloway to win this fight, but at this weight and considering Holloway the last 5 years has taken a lot of wear and tear, is this the best possible time, if there's a good time, to catch Max Holloway.
I fully understand your point, and if we go to Max's last performance, which is what we do, we judge a fighter from what we saw last. Look, he didn't look great. He really got controlled by Charles Oliveira, somebody that he had a pass with that he should have known a little better. That fight should have been a little closer than it was. Max not only lost his last fight, he lost his last 5 rounds of fighting. There is something to be said for momentum, but there's something to be said for motivation. Guys, historically, when they get knocked down, are they the guys that get back up? Yes, you're going to have a very hard time finding Max with 2 losses in a row.
And I add this to your point. One of the reasons why I feel like Max did not look as good as he did in that fight was because he came into that fight with Charles Oliveira thinking in his mind it was going to be a knockdown battle like it was with Justin Gaethje, and he was wanting that war, but Oliveira had a different game plan. He wanted a smarter fight, and he engaged the wrestling. My point is this: Max did not make the necessary adjustments in that fight to get a victory or to be able to stifle some of that wrestling, and I think for me, that's one of the problems. I'm like, I don't know what part of Max's game plan or what part of Max's cornering was like, listen, guys, we need to change some things up. It did not happen. And I think that's kind of more in Conor's favor, because if he's not making adjustments right now, who knows what's going to happen when he goes out there with Conor.
Guys, good news. I lied. We don't have to go to break. We're just going to keep breaking down fights. But we are going to take a break for the moment from the main event. The co-main is sensational as well. Paddy Pimblett trying to bounce back after his first loss. Benoit Saint-Denis. What do you see with this fight?
Be careful what you ask for, because you just might get it. Listen, this whole thing got set up at a press conference. Somebody starts asking Dana White about Paddy. Paddy turned out to be in the audience of the press conference, so Dana just turns it to Paddy. He says, when would you like to fight? Paddy yells out, International Fight Weekend. They ask who? Dana says to Paddy, who would you like to fight? Paddy says, I'll get back to you. Paddy thinks about it, sends a text message, and calls out Benoit Saint-Denis. Why do I say that? A fighter's got a job. His job is to get the biggest paycheck against the easiest opponent. I don't know that Paddy did that. I think that Paddy looked at the rankings, wanted to show an integrity to the sport, wanted to show his own courage. You don't have to do that in this game. I don't know that there's a guy available and realistic that could draw Paddy, draw a co-main event and something as big. I think this is the hardest fight he could have found, and you got to be very careful doing that when you're coming off a loss.
What do you think, Rashad?
I mean, it is one of the hardest fights he could have found, but here's the thing from his perspective. From Paddy's perspective, he's already fought Justin Gaethje. He's fought Michael Chandler. He's been in there with guys who he believes are at the highest level, and he's done pretty well with them. His fight with Justin Gaethje, he got beat, but it was one of those fights where if you're to lose like that. He went out there and he showed that I lost, but I'm not beaten. And that's the thing with him that gave him a lot of confidence to call out of Benoit Saint-Denis, because he knows that, I came up short against Justin Gaethje, but guess what? I learned my lesson from that fight, and there's no way I'm coming up short against anybody else, because now not only do I know I have the skill set, but now I have the belief in myself. It's been fortified with my fight with Justin Gaethje that I can go in there and hang with the best.
He lost an absolute war, to you guys' points, with Gaethje, but before that, his last 2 wins were finishes. VSD's last 4 wins, finishes. So any chance this thing goes the full distance tonight?
Yeah, most definitely. And by the way, I think that cardio, there is a narrative on Paddy the Baddy that he struggles in long fights. Rashad, I don't think that's fair. I don't know a time that I've seen Paddy fade. In fact, I can think of the opposite, where he's come on stronger, where he's been losing going to the 3rd and final round. But it is intimidating. A combat's athlete's biggest fear is not losing the match. The biggest fear of a combat athlete is reaching exhaustion. And I think that Paddy, having just come off a title fight, meaning 5 full rounds, and coming down to 15 minutes, I think he's going to have a confidence. I think he's going to come out and he's going to put whatever skills he's got, but he's going to put them all on Benoit.
Yeah, Paddy does a really good job of reaching that point of fatigue, but then catching a second win. And being able to catch a second win, he fights better sometimes in the second half of the fight. But I feel like this fight is going to go to the decision. I feel like this fight is going to be a grinder type of fight. Both of these guys have very similar styles with their wrestling, and they're trying to get it to the ground. But I think this fight is going to be fought in the small spaces, on their feet, through the clinches, against the cage, and I feel like that favors Paddy.
Yeah, so let's talk about the path to victory for Paddy Pimblett in your mind.
Okay, he's going to put pressure on him. Paddy wants to get a finish. He's capable of doing that. I don't think a submission is very likely. Paddy is capable of of catching you. And Benoit is a little reckless, meaning he is susceptible to being caught, but it's rare. Benoit seems to be getting smarter. He seems to understand that his time of closing on a potential title shot is near. This is one of those moments where it's extremely high stakes, but not extremely high pressure because they're not the main event. That's something to consider.
Are you saying, based on your last statement, that it's a grind-it-out type path for Paddy Pimblett to win?
For both of them, it's going to be a grind-up path to win, because their styles are so similar, and it's going to be who's going to be able to capitalize on those striking moments. With that said, I feel like Paddy's going to be able to capitalize on those striking moments because I think he has a power advantage and also a little bit more creativity and a little more ability with the striking know-how.
How about for you, the path to victory for BST?
Okay, I'm just going to have to pressure him. He's probably going to have to go a full 15 minutes. Finishing Paddy is a very hard thing to do. I think one thing that we did learn in the Justin Gaethje fight, even in defeat, is the durability and the heart of Paddy. Paddy's not what I used to think, by the way. I thought he was this young guy with a weird haircut, and he's kind of a regional fighter. No, this guy's married. He's in his 30s. He's got twin daughters. Like, Paddy's a real guy fighting for real reasons.
So you're picking Paddy Pimblett,
I got
correct,
Paddy
Rashad?
Pimblett. Yes, sir.
All right, so you got Conor McGregor in an upset there. You got Paddy here. How come? Give me one final statement on why.
With Paddy Pimblett, I feel he's finally getting it, and he's finally coming into himself, not from a hype standpoint of view, but from the hard working, I did the work, I've grounded it, I've had my ups, I had my downs, and now this is who I am as a fighter.
How about you? Who are you predicting to win?
Saint Denis, and this is a close one, I will admit it. Saint Denis, I think we're going to get some rounds. I think you're likely to see a referee's decision, but I think that you're going to see a war. They are for sure going to trade exchanges. They are for sure are probably even going to trade rounds. It's going to be pretty close, 3-2 perhaps, but I do have Saint Denis by decision.
UFC 329, we got the main event, now the co-main. But there are some other huge fights clearly on this card here in Las Vegas coming up later on today and tonight. Corey Sandhagen and Mario Bautista 2. This rematch, 7 years in the making. What do you see here?
Interesting. This Batista's a lot better than people are giving him credit for. He has beaten world champions in the past. Jose Aldo happens to come to mind. But Corey Sandhagen, he looks like he's getting better to me. There used to be a story out on Sandhagen that he can't wrestle. Now all of a sudden, not only is his defense on point, he's actually taking people down and controlling them. Sandhagen is getting better and better at a faster rate than Mario is. I like Corey in this contest.
Yeah, Batista, he's great at getting you into grappling exchanges, getting you in the place where he wants to. He has a striking to really make a difference and make you pay attention to his striking, thus opening up his wrestling game. But with Corey Sandhagen, the first fight, Corey was so good with his movements and what he was bringing to the table from a creativity point of view. It kept Batista at bay, kept him guessing, kept him not really knowing what to do, and it allowed Corey to open up and allow him to have his way in that fight. And even when it went to the ground, that's how Corey Sandhagen was able to pull off the submission because he was good off his back. Now you have a Corey Sandhagen who's better with his wrestling, as Chael pointed out, but a more confident in a Corey Sandhagen who is hungry. He lost to Merab, but guess what? He still believes that he can be champion.
All right, for Sandhagen, what's the path to victory in your mind?
Push the pace. Understand that this guy is going to try to knock you out the entire night. Keep your hands up. Keep him guessing with the wrestling. But now, all of a sudden, and it wasn't a tool or a gift that Corey had the first time, all of a sudden, that wrestling is a very legitimate threat. If Corey can get on top of him even once, I think he can change the fight. I think by the time Batista gets up, there'll be a lot of fatigue there. Hard to get him down, but ultimately, Corey Sandhagen has got to remember he is a mixed martial artist. Put it all together. That's his path to victory.
Corey's just got to get in his bag, as the kids say, right? And by that, I mean get into his flow of fighting. Corey is one of the slickest and beautiful style fighters to watch when he starts to flow. When Corey flows, it hits by itself. He doesn't really have to force anything, and I think that's the beauty of his whole game. He can switch stances, he can kick you, he can wrestle, he can submit you. Is when Corey starts flowing, he's the most dangerous.
Bautista on the flip side, path to victory for him.
Batista can go out and knock him out. Batista can go out and put a pace on him. It's very hard to just say that if they go a decision, it's going to favor Corey. That's usually true, but Batista will keep up with that. He's not going to fade as this night goes on. Whatever skills he's got, and by the way, you've got to stay focused. If you go get a round ahead of Batista and you think he's going to come out down in the dumps, not going to happen. If you're 2 rounds ahead, the math is on your side, and you think Batista's going to fade, he's not.
Yeah, he's going to have to brawl him out at times and also stall him out at times. And I hate to say that because it kind of jams up the action of the fight. It's not really fun for the viewers. But if you're in the cage, that's what frustrates a fighter. Getting him against a cage, letting the crowd boo a little bit, that's when he starts to come undone. That's when he starts getting out of his game plan. That's when he tries to do the extra thing and force things, and that's when he can get caught. And that's what Batista's going to have to do. He's going to have to catch Corey Sandhagen.
Final predictions. Who wins this fight?
Corey Sandhagen, I love what Rashad just said. Batista can win, but he's going to have to catch him. That's possible to do, but Sandhagen is very durable. Look, if Sandhagen can use that wrestling and get on top of him even one time, I think that he can change this fight. I am taking Corey Sandhagen.
I'm taking Corey Sandhagen, too. I mean, especially since he beat him the first time, and now this version of Corey Sandhagen, I know Corey Sandhagen personally, and I know what he does mentally, so I feel like Corey Sandhagen has what it takes, and he has that belief to go get past Batista.
All right, I'm pretty excited about this next one. Royval against Kavanaugh. We continue the theme of fights that could steal the show. Royval, the third most fight of the night bonuses in flyweight history. Kavanaugh coming off a performance of the night win over Brandon Moreno. What do you see with what could be a firefight here?
Man, Royval is just fantastic in almost every facet of the sport. I mean, he's just one of those guys who can brawl, he can be long, he can get you on the ground. He's just down to fight. But with that said, sometimes him being down to fight, it takes him out of the fight. When you're in the fight, you're kind of keeping score in your mind. Okay, this, and you're kind of keeping score. Sometimes it doesn't seem like Royval's keeping score. He's just out there fighting against a guy like Lonnie Kavanaugh. He's going to have to be a little bit more paying attention to just not getting lost in the whole fighter thing, because Kavanaugh does such a really good job of pulling you into his punches, staying tight like you see Ilia Topuria does in his combinations. And that's a hard thing to stop.
Royval took on Joshua Van a year ago. He lost that fight. It was razor close, even a split decision. Joshua Van proved to be the best fighter in the world, which means Royval is right there with the best in the world. I'm not sold on Kavanaugh quite yet. He's got the potential. Ilia Topuria says this is going to be the next guy in this weight class, but I don't know if that time is now. And one thing about Royval is mentally and in his heart, this young man hates to lose.
Royval, what's the path to victory?
Royval, he's got to just operate from the outside long, have some movement, but at the same time, engage in the close battle. Mix it up a little bit. Present some takedown offense, but at the end of the day, do not forget the fact that he is a dog. He needs to go out there and be the bigger fighter. He's quite a bit bigger than Lonnie, and he needs to go out there and put that size on Lonnie.
Royval enjoyed his work when he was fighting Joshua Van. He would land some shots and then think, okay, the momentum is coming my way. Van was able to reset, and it caught Royval off guard 6, 7, 8 times in the match, which ultimately went to the judges. Royval needs to understand you're in the fight until the referee says stop. He needs to understand when things are going your way. Add to it. Do not stand back and enjoy your work. Stay focused. Mentally in the fight is Royval's biggest challenge at times.
All right, Kavanaugh, what's the path for him?
He's got to just really, stay in the punching sequences like he does, nice and tight, because I feel like that's where his biggest opportunities is. Royval gets nice and long. Sometimes he gets a little wild, and because he gets wild, I feel like that's where Kavanaugh can take his biggest advantage. Right there, as you see, that big right hand, but he does that because he stays so close from the action. When someone's throwing a punch, he doesn't back all the way out of the pocket. He just slips and he rips. That slipping and ripping and that power that he has is going to be the difference in this fight for Kavanaugh.
And instead of me telling you what I think Kavanaugh needs to do, let me tell you what Kavanaugh says he's going to do. I talked to his trainer. Are you going to win this fight? How do you win this fight? He believes his combinations are too much. He believes he can distract his opponent with the combinations to the body, come upstairs and put him down. He believes he needs a knockout. Now let me remind you, Mike Tyson famously said, if you try to win by knockout, you will not win a decision. Kavanaugh is going all in on the finish.
Does Kavanaugh win it with a finish tonight?
No, he does not. He's going to tire himself out. He's a young man. He's still finding his way. He's got a bright future. He's ranked in the top 10. He's not quite ready to be in the top 4 where Royval currently sits.
All right, who's your prediction then?
Man, I got Kavanaugh on this one. I feel like the speed and the power that he has and that combination punching that he has is going to be the difference. I think he's going to be able to seize one of those wild moments and land a big right hand, left hook to put out Royval.
How about this one? King Green and Terrence McKinney. We all feel like it's going to end violently no matter who you're rooting for. 12 first-round finishes combined between these two. So how does this one play out?
Nobody loves this fight more than Rashad, so I'll be brief here and we'll get to him. But I think Bobby Green is too much. Look, Bobby's not the better athlete. I get that, and he's not quite as quick. But Bobby's mean. Bobby will drag this out. Bobby and the relationship, their personal relationship with these two. Bobby's the big brother. He's not ready to let that go.
Yeah, and that the relationship is the reason why this fight is so interesting to see, because of the fact that, you know, Terrence McKenna kind of went out of his way, to make this fight happen against a guy who was kind of like a big bro to him. And for a guy in King Green, he felt disrespected. And that disrespect, it sits with you, because when you're at the tail end of your career and you're bringing up the young guys behind you, and then you see in their eyes they're looking at you as your food, like you're a payday. Now you're wondering, like, did I do something wrong along the way in this mentorship program that now I'm on the menu?
Does this one
fair.
make it? That's very fair
question.
Rashad, does this one make it out of the first round, this fight?
I don't think so. I mean, it's really hard to see a McKinney fight going past the first round, especially since the fact that King Green does not keep his hands up at all, and it's very enticing. And McKinney throws punches from yesterday, so he's gonna try to hit him with something.
I'm still enjoying Rashad's line about mentorship program.
Me
Did
too.
this thing go awry? But no, look, this is very unlikely to go the distance unless, and every now and then we have seen two guys that know each other, and it turns into two guys staring at each other. Every now and then that does happen. I think they're going to both double-cross the other one. I think that Terrence McKinney has slowly over the years been storing things away. I think Bobby Green has been storing things away just in case they get here. They're going to show us what that is tonight, and this is going to a finish.
I happen to like his line, and it's not the first time I've heard it, but when he talks about the opponent being somebody's food.
Yeah, that's right.
It gets me nervous, even though we're friends. I don't feel like he's going to come at me. But so, prediction. Who does win the fight here, Rashad?
Man, I got Terrence McKinney on this one. I want to go with the old dog, Bobby Green, but there's something to be said about the ferocity of Terrence McKinney. Listen, one time Terrence came into the gym with who's the guy from 185 pounder? 170 pounder. He came into the gym and they were sparring and they had a little situation. They went full out and went all crazy in there, and it would just kind of show me, like, Terrence McKinney is one of those guys who's going to go out there and he's going to fight and he's going to go and he's going to knock you out whenever you get a chance, because he fights so fast and he fights so furious. I got McKinney in this one.
When two guys are going to fight, if we can get the inside scoop as to who went to Dana first, whose idea was this, a lot of times we now know who has the more confidence. Look, Terrence McKinney feels like he knows something. He's the cat that ate the canary. I just think Bobby Green is a little tougher than Terrence knows. I think Bobby Green was mentoring when they were sparring. I think he was helping him along. Tonight, he tries to beat him.
It's going to be a lot of fun. It's UFC 329 as we continue on from T-Mobile Arena here in Las Vegas. We have a lot more to talk about. Still more than 20 minutes on this pre-show from the fight capital of the world. Back with plenty more as we revisit, of course, the main event, 13 years in the making, the rematch. Conor McGregor and Max Holloway, too. Stay with us.
All right, so with this big fight we've been talking about, but there's a lot that can happen in UFC 329, a lot of compelling matchups. Chris, does any matchup on this card stand out to you?
There's a bunch of them, but I'll go with Terrence McKinney versus King Green. Terrence McKinney, every single one of his fights in his MMA career has ended by finish. I don't know how many fights have ended in the first round, but almost all of them. And so that's gonna be super fun. And King Green, he fights with his hands down. He's on a 3-fight knockout streak, or a 3-fight win streak, and that's gonna be, I think, a fight of the night right there.
Yeah. How about you, Jorge? What are you looking forward to on this card?
I agree with Chris a lot on that fight. I think that fight's gonna be a train wreck. No matter how it goes, it's gonna be a hell of a fight. But I think East D Patty might have some real fireworks there. I'm probably going with the main event, though.
Yeah.
I think they'll put on the biggest show, Max especially.
Yeah.
Being who he is and where he's at right now, I think Max is going to steal the show.
But the BSD Patty fight is a fight with a lot of implications in it.
Tons.
I mean, so winner that could possibly move up to a title shot, or
fight
just a
next. Who
Yeah.
knows? It's crazy.
Yeah, but for me, I think I'm looking forward to Brandon Royval, Lonnie Kavanaugh, taking it back to the flyweight division, which I think has had just a tremendous year with the stars of that division, Manel Cobb, Joshua Van. Pantoja, hopefully he comes back. But I'm telling you right now, if Lonnie Kavanaugh can get past a guy like Brandon Royval, he can compete with those guys. And he's another guy that just, when you insert him into the talent of all those guys in that division, it's going to be an amazing division to watch unfold as the year goes on.
Definitely. They usually have the biggest output. They usually have the most energy, but usually they're not known for their power, for knocking guys out. And now this is like the first time at 125, they're like the top 5 guys have all dynamite in their hand. You know?
All right, real quick, we got about 30 seconds left. Gable Steveson, what are you expecting from him?
I think he's too fast, too athletic, too high of a pedigree of wrestling to lose the fight. I think he's going to create a big splash in the heavyweight division for sure.
All right, we got it. So UFC 329 taking place tonight. Make sure y'all tune in.
When Conor McGregor fights, you're witnessing something once in a lifetime.
Surprise, the king is back!
All my life I want money in my...
I'm right here! You're in for a treat!
McGregor versus Holloway. Free with your subscription. Only on Paramount Plus.
2, 1. Back here in Las Vegas, Conor McGregor, Max Holloway 2. It's been since 2013, and the rematch finally happens here tonight. That was the face-off with some fireworks here, of course, last night in Las Vegas, Nevada. Taking you to the top of the hour, where the early prelims will be underway, and you can catch those, of course, on Paramount Plus and right here on CBS Sports HQ. Back with Rashad Evans and Chael Sonnen, and I'm Brent Stover. So we will get back to the main event and today's headlines, tomorrow's headlines today as well, but we got to talk about Gable Steveson. He's going to be on the undercard. When Steveson fights, it's phenomenal, and the debut is something to behold. He's a guy that a lot of people are very excited about in the heavyweight division.
Yeah, and a lot of guys have buckled under that. Aaron Pico is the biggest prospect I've ever seen. They put him at Madison Square Garden. They put him on TV. They put him in there a little bit too young, and I just share for you, this is a great spot for Gable. Rashad, there's no pressure on him. They've got him on an undercard. They've got him in a spot where he's at heavyweight. He's got the greatest fighter of all time, arguably, in John Jones, believing him in this corner. Gets a lot of strength from that. Gable is not going to wilt. I think that Gable is going to live up to the hype of being a very special prospect.
I agree, and I love the fact that they took him off of the main card because of the fact that when you start on the main card, there's really no place to go. You already come in there with the mindset that there's nothing to earn, but he's found himself on the card in general, and that's a good place, debuting on the Conor McGregor card. Big platform, but with Gable Steveson, I mean, he's more than just a wrestler now. He's been training with Six Guns, one of the best striking coach, and there's such a fluidity in his striking, and there's tools that he haven't even unleashed yet. I guess he has a crazy kicking game that he's waiting to unleash.
So much hype, so much excitement. 3-0 as a pro. UFC debut comes up later on tonight here on the prelims. Elijah Ellison is across the cage from him. If you're Ellison, what's the mindset with all the hype surrounding the other guy?
I was college roommates and teammates with Ellison's coach. I spoke to him this morning. They're fully aware of what they're getting into. They have no misgivings. They don't want to turn this into a wrestling match, but they also understand in their minds that they understand pacing. And that is true. You don't really know how to go 15 minutes until you do 15 minutes a couple of times. I've seen wrestlers come out. I've seen them dump that tank. I've seen them with the adrenaline dumps. Will that happen to Gable? We'll see. But the point is, Elijah does know he can win this contest. He does know crazier things are happening. He does know he is up against it.
Yeah, he knows that he's up against it. And with that said, he has to come into this fight as if, like, I am going to make him feel me. And I say that because it's such an easier way of moving along the fight when you don't really know what's going to happen, when you feel like you're outmatched, when you feel like your opponent may be better than you. If you say he's going to feel me, then everything you do is with resistance. He just cannot allow himself to relent and give in to anything that Gable does. If he does that, makes everything a little bit harder, he may find a window where he finds Gable taking a second of just like, okay, it's not going as easy as I thought. And that's all he needs, is just that 1 second for Gable to say, it's not as easy as I thought, for him to seize the moment.
Obviously, debut in the UFC, and it's a big one here tonight for Gable Stevenson. Do you remember what it was like making your UFC debut, Chael?
Yes, it was miserable, by the way. And you're acting happy to be there, but boy, those lights are bright. Your dreams are starting to come true, and your name's coming across the ticker. I mean, for anybody, it's a very big deal. And don't forget, it's not Elijah's debut. And don't forget, Gable wrestled for an Olympic gold medal. He won the match with less than a second left. My point is, this guy's got some ice going through his veins.
He definitely got some ice going through his veins, but it's different when you're on this stage because of the fact that it's so hard to anticipate the feeling you're going to have when they come to the back room and say, okay, time to step on the line. Now you're going to make your walk. And you've made many walks before, and he has done great things. But there's something different when that light hits you and the crowd goes crazy and you're walking out and you feel your heart is in your throat and you can't feel your legs and you're slapping them, trying to wake them up because you know you've trained, you know you've done the work, but now it's just making yourself believe it all the way from that walk into the cage until the bell rings in the octagon.
I'm assuming you're both predicting that Gable Stevenson wins this fight here tonight.
Absolutely.
How long does it go? What do you expect?
I think it's going to be over in the first round. I feel like, Gable's going to at least try to move around and get some time in the octagon and work out some things and try some different things. I think he's going to try to kick. I think he's going to try to show his diversity as a fighter in this fight.
Gable goes on what he calls a sprint, where he feels the guy around, he sees something, and he goes on a sprint. Then he dies it back down, goes on another sprint to preserve that energy. I think he only needs one good sprint. I think we're out of there inside of 5 minutes.
All right, early prelims coming up top of the hour again on Paramount Plus and right here on CBS Sports HQ. 14 total fights coming up tonight between the early prelims, the prelims, and, of course, the main card. So you're looking at some of these other fights here. What jumps off the page for you, Rashad?
Man, I like that Whitaker and Krylov fight. There's been a mass exodus out of the middleweight division to light heavyweight, and Whitaker is one of the middleweights to come up. And I like this move for him. I think it's one that allows him to kind of refresh himself as a fighter. You reach a certain point, but you need something new. And a guy like Whitaker, who's been at the very top at middleweight for a long time, it gets stale after a while, and you need a new challenge, and this was his fight with Krylov presents. But Krylov in himself is a very tough guy in himself and finding momentum, so this is going to be a very interesting matchup.
And staring at that screen right there, what surprised me is 2 world champions are part of this. We've got a world champion in Cody Garbrandt. That's the second fight of the night. I mean, this card is so completely loaded. Oh, by the way, this world champion Cody Garbrandt is the underdog. That's something very surprising. As you work your way down the card, he doesn't have a lot of room left to go. In fairness, Garbrandt needs this victory.
All right, what's another one that stands out? Because, again, we have talked about some of the biggest names and the biggest fights. We just saw the 7 Eastern prelims there. On the main card with these 5, what do you see there, I guess, besides the obvious?
Possibly the most to lose tonight is Paddy Pimblett. If he drops 2 in a row as a former #1 contender, it's a big deal. Possibly the most to gain is St. Denis. Will this get him a title shot? I can't go that far. Will this get him in the short list of a conversation for a title shot? Oh, yeah, definitely.
I like the Royval and Kavanaugh fight. I feel like Royval is really fighting for that spot to stay within the top 4, to stay within 1 shot away from being in title contention. But Kavanaugh is fastly rising, and he wants to show that he is one of the guys who is going to be competing for the belt next. So this matchup is going to be very interesting as well.
Pre-fight show, as I mentioned, coming up top of the hour. We got 13 more minutes here. Before we get to tomorrow's headlines today, what's it like, especially for some of these fighters getting their first opportunity, or maybe it's not their first, but they're fighting early in the night, or in this case, it'll still be in the afternoon. How challenging is that?
Big deal. Big deal. Add on top of that the largest gate in history. Add on top of it a Conor McGregor fight. Add on top of it the new home of Combat Paramount Plus. There's a lot. I mean, all of your dreams are coming true, but they all come together at once, which you need to know. And the key to this, Rashad, I wish I would have known it when I was younger. The other guy's feeling it too. The other guy is just as nervous, and he's dealing with all those same things. It's a level playing field. Go out there if you can. Try to have a little bit of fun.
My first UFC main card was at UFC 63, and that I was one of the first fights of the night, but it was something that allowed me to know that I made it. As fighters, we're always looking for those little moments in our career where we feel like we've made it and we've arrived to the next level. For some of these fighters fighting early, this is that for them. This is that moment like, you know what? I made it. I'm no longer on a fight night. I am on the main card. Not only am I on the main card, I'm on a Conor McGregor main card on International Fight Week in Vegas.
What about one of the early fighters? If you get an early win, it's still light outside, right? Yeah. You got a big night ahead of you. Like, it's got to feel great to go out there early, secure a victory, and be able to enjoy the rest of the fights or whatever you want to do in Vegas.
You want to talk about being high? The ultimate night is to go out there, get a victory, get a nacho, a Coca-Cola big enough to swim in, take in the show with no pressure. All of these guys are fans, even Conor McGregor, but he can't really be in the back and watch these guys and enjoy that moment. You got to push it all out. Got to be real selfish for yourself. But yes, if you're one of those younger guys, you can come in, take this show in, have fun with it. You got a leg up.
Yeah, that's the best thing in the world, to get a W and then sit back with your favorite, whatever you want to eat or drink, and just sit back and just be a fan. But listen, these guys are competing against each other tonight in every weight class because everybody wants to steal the show. And you've seen it from the weigh-in. Everybody came with that kind of energy like, this show is for me. And they know that Conor is a top bill and Max is a top bill. But guess what? Tonight is a night for them to steal the show and make the world remember them.
Okay, tomorrow's headlines today. Predictions here. Conor McGregor showed blank.
That you can win, that you can be inspiring, that you can get back on the horse, even if you don't ride the son of a gun for 8 seconds. Look, he's very unlikely to get his hand raised, but there's 3 tasks that Conor agreed to here. Go through a training camp, make weight, go out there and compete. He's already done 2 of the 3. Whether he wins tonight or not, in a literal stance, he's going to overcome some demons and some personal doubt, and that is what he says this is really all about.
You know, I feel like this fight is for Conor when it says what it showed that he has the heart to come back. And he said it when he was talking and when he was singing, "You're my Wonderwall." When he started breaking out in song and singing that, when you look at what Wonderwall means, Wonderwall is something that is about saving you from yourself. Fighting is that Wonderwall from Conor because fighting is saving him from himself, and it's really got him refocused and got him living in a way that's better for him, where it's not about money, where it's not about fame, where it's not about chasing. He's found the thing that he's been looking for, and it's not in anything that he can financially buy. It's right here, making that walk where he's tested himself.
Man, that is well said. That is something you cannot replicate in this lifetime. Next one, blank is next in line for the lightweight title.
Oh, I don't know that we're going to fight him. Look, I really think that it's Arman Tsarukyan, but there will be a dialogue. Patty will be right back on that horse. When you go into a rematch with Gaethje, I think we're getting ahead of ourselves, but as far as the conversation, Pimlet or St. Denis, who wins, will be part of that discussion.
I like what you said there, but I like Arman Tsarukyan, man. Listen, he's not really in a lot of discussions, but what he's been gaining outside of the octagon is very important because we know this is a popularity contest, and he's one of the most popular guys right now in 155 just because of what he's done outside the cage. He's been on the streaming, he's been doing rap, he's been out there in the public, and he's making people wonder about where he is, and they want to see him back in the cage.
Okay, next. Blank fight was Fight of the Year contender.
Bobby Green, Terrence McKinney. I think everyone's going to say that. Maybe I just stole my partner's line here, but that really is the fight. There's a personal side of this. You can't lose to a friend. It's important to both these guys. Whatever skills they got, they're going to bring them.
I'm going to say Royval and Kavanaugh. I feel like this fight's going to be crazy. The way that Royval is going to fight is going to make Lonnie come and bring it on all levels, and I think it's going to be a fantastic fight.
Okay, blank fighter stole the show.
Robert Whittaker. By the way, Robert Whittaker's got under-promoted. This is a main event. This is a guy fighting for world titles. Yeah. He goes up a weight class. He thinks there's going to be a lot of tension. He gets put on an undercard. Trust me when I tell you that is not sitting well with him. Robert Whittaker is going to impress us all later this evening.
Man, I think that Paddy Pimblett going to steal the show, man. I feel like I just looking at his energy, because he's been playing his part all week. He's not really trying to upshine Conor at all, but I think on fight night, he's going to try to. I think he's going to just go out there and allow it to go, because it's going to feed into the crowd. When you look at the crowd and when you hear the crowd, they're for either Conor or they're here for Paddy, and they get hype up. And I think that Paddy's going to feed off the energy and have a big night tonight.
Gable Stevenson blank or blanks in his debut. You can use plural or not, but Gable Stevenson blank or blanks in his debut.
Lived up to the hype. The wrestling community has been highly underrepresented as of late in the heavyweight class. Tyrell Fortune, Josh Hogan, and now Gable Stevenson. I really think that Gable is going to bring a lot of support back to his roots, which is the wrestling field.
I'm going to say showed out. See,
Okay.
that's more of a hip-hop term. Look, he's going to show out. He's going to go out there and he's going to show out, because we know what Gable's going to be able to, what he can do, and we know what we expect him to do, and I think he's going to deliver on all those levels.
Final one. Blank shocked the world with that upset.
Oh, I didn't know that was one of the questions, but I will tell you, if Cody Garbrandt gets over, he's likely to do it by KO. If Cody Garbrandt scores a KO, that's going to surprise a lot of people at this point in his career. By the way, this sounds a little negative, a little pressure on Cody. This is actually from a community that is supporting Cody, but we don't make any lies. He needs a win tonight.
I think Conor is going to shock the world.
Wow.
Conor is going to shock the world. Listen, I don't know what it is, and maybe I'm just hearing his music in the background. It's getting me hyped up, but I feel like Conor is going to shock the world.
Would you agree? If Conor wins, he's got to win by knockout.
He's got to win by knockout. Got to win.
All right, we have 3 more minutes, guys, until the UFC 329 pre-show. How does this main event fight end here later on tonight?
We've got it. One of us is right. I'm thinking Max inside of 4. He's thinking Conor probably in 1 or 2. One of us is right. There's not a decision going down tonight. There's not a disqualification. There's not somebody that's going to get a submission. It's going to be a long, drawn-out battle. And Conor can either hold up. His body can physically hold up to it, of which he's going to be in this fight until it's over, or that layoff has been too much. The lawsuits have been too much. The distractions have been too much, and Max is going to go right through him. One of us is right. There's no in-between.
There is no in-between.
Definitely one of us is right. You know, I feel like Conor has a chance to really make something happen in this fight, because Max is going out there to make a point. Max wanted to make a point, and I know that because he says, I'm going to drown you. So if you're going to drown him, that means that you're going to not finish him or bring him into deeper waters. If you're looking to bring somebody in deeper waters, that means that you're not going to be overly aggressive in the start of the fight. If you're not overly aggressive against Conor McGregor in the start of the fight, you can find yourself in a bad way. And there is a such thing as taking so much damage that it really inhibits the ability to really take you into deep waters effectively. That's why I think that Conor may be able to do something tonight.
Guys, we got a minute left. Let's just take a deep breath. And you and I talked about it, yeah, exactly, at the White House. How lucky are we to get to be a part of the UFC? And obviously you guys have been 2 of the greats ever to do it. But to have the White House in June, and now this massive return of Conor McGregor.
A street kid with no education from Boston started this whole thing. He said, I'm going to take something that the world doesn't even accept as a legal and real sport. I'm going to change and influence people's minds. Yes, this is incredible. Rashad, if I was ever asked as a kid, would I be standing here with you guys in broadcasting? It wasn't even a dream, because it wasn't even an opportunity. Stover makes a fair point, and we are very fortunate.
Very fortunate. I mean, to be here and to be this close to the fight and not actually have to get hit. It's amazing, Chandler. You know how it is, because normally on fight days we can barely eat or keep our food down. And to be here on this side of things and just to be a part of this for so many great opportunities have been a blessing.
Rashad's got a couple of rounds left in him, I think.
Yes, he does.
I mean, I feel it, but like I said, it's different when the rounds get on you. I may have one good round in me.
I'm trying to get him to a wrestle match. I just talked to him yesterday.
Yeah.
Even told my opponent, hey, how about you and Tito? I think I might have him thinking on it, Stover.
Yeah, absolutely. You've been watching live from McGregor, Holloway 2, Rashad Evans, Chael Sonnen, and I'm Brent Stover. So long for now from Vegas. UFC 329 pre-show comes up next.
All right, fellas, the long-awaited return of Conor McGregor's back, taking on Max Holloway. I know what the odds suggest. The odds suggest that Max Holloway is going to win this one, probably convincingly. What do you think? Chris, I'll start with you.
Man. Well, I would say first, if you're a big Conor fan, go back and watch the first Conor McGregor fight against Max Holloway that happened a long time ago, because it'll make you feel good about your pick, because Conor did dominate the fight. He won 30-27 on 2 judges' scorecards and 30-26 on one judge's scorecard. It's complete domination. Plus, he had a torn ACL, I think, from the second round going into the third. He looked great. But all that being said, he has 1 win in the last 9 years. He's been out of the octagon for 5 years. He's coming off of one of the worst injuries in the history of the sport. And I can tell you, from having that same injury, it's very hard to come back from. It's hard to have confidence in your kicks again. It's hard to be able to move the way you want. But every one of those injuries is a little bit different. And if anybody could do it and come back with pure confidence, it is Conor McGregor. But to come back against one of the most biggest volume punchers in the history of the sport, a guy with the most significant strikes in the UFC, it's going to be a tough undertaking, and we'll see how comfortable he is in there after being out for so long.
What does Conor have to do to try to get his hand raised?
Knock him out early, let him feel the power, and take advantage of it. If he catches him by surprise, jump on him and take him out. I definitely feel that as the fight goes longer, it's going to lean heavily towards Max. As we all know here, to get that fighting premium jet fuel gasoline takes a lot of effort, work, sacrifice, the timing as well, just everything. And if you're not living that lifestyle, I don't give a who you are, not even John Jones, nobody. It doesn't matter who you are. This sport is not kind to nobody unless you're kind to the sport, unless you're in there getting after it. I don't believe he's been getting after it all these years, so I'm going with Max by decapitation.
I think that's like the biggest question mark, is how comfortable is Conor going to be in there, inside that cage, under those lights, and how is his cardio going to hold up? He's struggled in the past with cardio issues.
And Max has also got to feel confident, because he fought him in his prime. Max was 19, 20 years old, and now time has gone by, and he's got the more experience now. He's been the one in there grinding. He's seen Conor fall off, so I think mentally, too, Max is going to be in a really good space.
Max Holloway, Conor McGregor, UFC 329. We'll see you guys there.
Counted down days, now it's finally here. From Las Vegas, where the biggest fight night becomes unforgettable moments, today belongs to the UFC, the return of the sport's most recognizable star, a sold-out arena, millions watching around the world, and a fight card worthy of the occasion. Sin City buzzing, fans have traveled from around the world. The anticipation has been building for years for Conor McGregor's return. Tonight, they will watch him fight for the first time in the octagon since 2021. This is the beginning of what promises to be an unforgettable night at UFC 329.
The fight game in the combat sports world is McGregor's world. Now and forever. Combat. I love it. I relish it. I live for it. It's a very tough and brutal business, and I'd be lying if I said it wasn't. The toughest business of all is the fight business.
Oh, McGregor hurt his leg.
His leg's broken.
Oh, no.
Not everybody even returns from that injury.
It is what it is. It's a bit of discomfort. But everything you ever want in this life is on the opposite end of your discomfort.
If there's a guy that can come back from that injury, this man right here can go and do it.
A long road to recovery, but I'm fully recovered. What I am about to do after such an injury has never been seen before in the sport.
The most anticipated return in all of UFC history.
Conor McGregor, the biggest star in all of the sport.
Etch my name in history one more time.
One of the most charismatic and enigmatic fighters in any combat sport.
There is only one Conor McGregor.
Surprise, surprise, the king is back.
Oh! He slapped him! He's the guy that made double champs a thing.
That's what I dreamed into reality. Oh, that looks good.
I feel there's so much left for me to conquer in this game. more belts, more accolades, more records. And I'm excited to get in and do it.
McGregor is back, folks, and he draws his old foe, the legend Max Holloway.
The first time these two guys fought, they were children.
The first time I fight Conor, that was 13 years ago.
Conor McGregor with a dominant performance here tonight in Boston against Max Holloway.
This kid is still learning and growing, and he's got a huge future ahead of him.
After that fight, we had a 2-loss streak. My next fight, if you lose, you probably get your papers going home. And I was like, brother, I'm not going home yet. I got a belt I need to win.
Since McGregor, he's gone on a tear. You have watched this man improve time and time again, and he has his eyes set on becoming the world champion.
I was wanting to fight the best guys and prove that the best is blessed.
That'll do it! Max Holloway!
It is what it is.
With respect to Conor McGregor, Holloway can already lay claim to being the greatest 145-pound fighter of all time.
Max said, I'm a gladiator. Gladiators didn't walk around with a scale saying, what do you weigh?
Oh! With 1 second to go!
This guy's a fighter, man. At this point, he's looking for something big.
I think Conor's coming back because he just got something to prove to himself. Yeah, he did some great things, but he didn't really check the box on MMA yet. He has some unfinished business. Unfortunately for him, he got to see me first.
Max is my child. When we first competed, I sunned him. I'm going to go in and sun him again. These men are not on my level. It is on me now to go and show that. And that's what I will do. I'm going through Max. It is what it is.
Max, you're not gonna lay a glove on me. It's another world here against me, and it's another world at this weight.
Conor McGregor! Too easy!
He wants to come back with a bang, so he's going to be looking for a KO finish, and so am I.
Oh, that's it!
I'm going to flick your face over and over again, brother.
I'm the best boxer you see, baby! The best boxer? Max, I'm gonna box you around with my hands down. I'm going to beat Max in stellar fashion.
I'm going to go in there, have my weight with him, in front of my Hawaiians, the 9th Island. This Hawaiian right here is going to walk out victorious.
It's unfortunate for Max. What's going to happen? I am taking everything with no mercy.
You're blessed that I chose you. You're blessed that I chose to whoop your ass next.
What an occasion. The UFC 329 pre-show is presented by Buffalo Trace Bourbon, America's fastest growing bourbon. It is fight day for UFC 329. Thrilled you're with us this early to help celebrate what is a big day for the UFC, for MMA, and one of the biggest sporting superstars in the world. I'm Brendan Fitzgerald. Hall of Famers across the board, Dominic Cruz, Chris Weidman, Michael Bisping will help get you ready. Chris, I'll start with you, and Megan O'Leary will be reporting for us over the next 2 hours in this special edition pre-show. Chris, I'll start with you on a Conor McGregor fight week. There's just nothing like it.
There is nothing like it. So I always judge fight weeks by how big a fight card is going to be based on when I get to the hotel and how many fans are in the lobby asking for autographs. And man, it's been 5 years since Conor McGregor's been back, and I cannot believe the amount of Irish accents and the pride that these fans have for Conor McGregor. The amount of autographs and pictures that I've had to take in this lobby is pretty awesome. Makes me feel good. But they always want to ask me the question at the end of taking the picture and the autograph: who do you got tomorrow night? And I'm like, I don't know if I want to tell you, because this is an uphill battle, but they're scaring me.
Well, we'll have predictions later in the show from all of you guys. Dom, you have had the circumstance of coming back after long layoffs repeatedly in your career, and that's what Conor's dealing with tonight.
Yeah, not just that, but he's also dealing with the expectation that he's set for himself and to his fans and to the world. He's got a 91% finish rate. He's got 14 knockouts, and 19 of them are knockouts, is what I'm trying to say, and 14 of them in the first round. So with that being said, he's got this delusional self-belief that he has to show. He has to believe it. And at the same time, it's not necessarily delusional. It's a clear intention. This is how champions think. This is how the best thinks. Me, Bisping, Weidman, we've all believed there is no chance I'm going to lose. And you have to have that in your head. But how much of that does he really believe? We're going to find out when he gets in there, and he's in the 3rd round with Max. He's in the 4th round with Max. If he gets there, if he doesn't get that first round finish, he's got an uphill battle, just like Chris said.
And of course, before he steps into the octagon, the familiar soundtrack. They're going through the rehearsals for Conor McGregor's walk later on tonight. The Foggy Dew in the background. Michael, what an occasion this week has been.
This is gonna be crazy. Conor McGregor finally returning after 5 years away from the sport. There's not a single person in this arena right now, but there's a buzz in the air. I'm telling you, tonight's gonna be crazy. The greatest comeback in combat sports history. Max Holloway did not get that memo. Listen, it's gonna be dangerous in the first round, but Max Holloway, look at the career that he's had. 2 fights ago, he beat Dustin Poirier in his hometown, forced him into retirement. Dustin Poirier is the person that last beat Conor McGregor twice. That was 5 years ago. So Conor's got a lot to deal with here. More importantly, he's got to deal with the pace, the pressure, the volume, and the skill of Max Holloway.
Well, coming up over the next 2 hours, we will dive deep on, of course, Conor McGregor's return. And it includes Nate Burleson with a sit-down to answer that question, why is he back? After all the money he's made and the hardships that he's dealt with physically and the injuries, he still wants to prove that he belongs at the very top of the fight game. UFC strawweight champion Mackenzie Dern is getting ready to defend her title next month in Philadelphia. She will join us a bit later on, and Conor Mania has returned to Las Vegas. We get out among the fans to talk about the sport's biggest superstar returning. Here's a look at the prelims coming up. We're wall-to-wall tonight on Paramount Plus. It includes a former middleweight champion breaking new ground. Robert Whittaker has moved up to the light heavyweight division for the first time tonight, where he squares off with Nikita Krylov, a fight finisher. And then Gable Steveson, his UFC debut. He's an Olympic gold medalist in wrestling. He's a national champion at the University of Minnesota. He's one of the biggest prospects the UFC has ever seen. His debut comes tonight against Elisha Ellison. He is a huge favorite. Also of note, a former champ Cody Garbrandt takes center stage against Adrian Yanez. Here's your main card. We will dive deep on all of these fights. Top 10 and high stakes at bantamweight when Corey Sandhagen squares off with Mario Bautista. Sandhagen was last in action in a title fight. He wants to earn another one. Brandon Royval has fought for the championship at flyweight. He welcomes young Lonnie Kavanaugh, a budding prospect turned contender from England, who has another big opportunity. And King Green, Terrence McKinney, do not blink when they lock the gates on those two. But back to the top, Michael, and Conor McGregor returning, the biggest star the sport has ever seen.
By far, and there'll never be another guy like Conor McGregor. The way that he captured the minds and the imaginations, all the new fans that he brought on board. Yes, he's witty, he's got the one-liners, but it's in the octagon. That's where he really built his fans. Some of the just total annihilation of his opponents, knocking out Jose Aldo in 13 seconds. The absolute decimation of Eddie Alvarez. It was a performance like we've never seen before. Just absolutely beautiful. The first ever two-weight division champion, simultaneously, by the way, and then just killing it on the microphone every single time. It wasn't just the people of Ireland that loved this guy. It was the entire world.
Especially if you had a little bit of Irish in your blood, you became a full-blooded Irish guy. You know, like you said, man, he's had 5 years off, and people still really believe that he has a chance to go out there and just finish Max Holloway, even though Max Holloway's been fighting the best guys in the lightweight division. You know, and it's because we go back to those vintage fights that he's had. He was talking to Jose Aldo like he was a little kid, disrespecting him. This is the featherweight GOAT, and he goes out there and does the impossible, knocks him out in 13 seconds. Then he goes up in weight, goes against Eddie Alvarez, who's the champion in the lightweight division, puts his hand behind his back, and then eventually knocks out Eddie Alvarez in the first round. He does things in a spectacular fashion. That's why people love him, on top of the way he talks, you know, like the belief that he has in everything. Everybody just like takes a little bit of that in for themselves. They start believing in themselves more, and it's just a very inspirational guy.
You live and you die by the sword, and this guy, like I said earlier, has a 91% finish rate and 19 knockouts. So when you do that, and you did like you just said, you knock out Aldo in the first round in the first 10 seconds of the fight, and you just keep doing this, you gotta believe that you can do it again. Max Holloway doesn't really get knocked out, not to mention he's made some adjustments. We've seen him switch to southpaw. I think we're going to see Max Holloway come out in that southpaw stance, and that changes the hand fight scenario. That changes the range. That changes all the counters of Conor. I'm looking forward to see the tactical battle in that. But like you guys said, there's no doubt that Conor is the most well-rounded superstar that we've seen in this game. I don't think he's necessarily the best martial artist we've ever seen on earth, but he's definitely the biggest superstar that's backed his words up and can fight very well.
Yeah, those iconic moments preceded by calling his shot in crazy press conference moments that he has then followed through on and surpassed the hype many times years ago during his championship reign. Max Holloway on the other side, you said it. Uphill battle for Conor McGregor. This is not an easy fight. There are no easy fights in the UFC at this level, but Max Holloway you'd think would be maybe one of the tougher matchups Conor McGregor could return to.
I agree, because he's got the most significant strikes in the UFC history. He doesn't stop. He's a volume puncher. He's probably the best 5-round fighter we've ever seen. He put Justin Gaethje out with 1 second left in the 5th round, and we just seen what Justin Gaethje did to Ilia Topuria. He wore him down and beat up a guy who most people thought was unbeatable on this White House 250 card. So if you look on paper, Conor's always struggled with his gas tank, and Max Holloway doesn't get tired. But Conor McGregor has the power to put out anybody, and that's why this fight is so exciting, because you don't know. And then you throw in the 5-year thing, and it's like, does Conor really have a chance? You throw in the broken leg. Does he have a chance of coming back and actually beating a guy like Max Holloway? And it's just very interesting.
You know, when I look at Conor, he's a guy that everybody kind of wants to make the star that they can be. But when you look at Max Holloway, you can just connect. He's like an eye-to-eye guy. You invite him to the barbecue. You could bring him to your house and hang out. He's got this personality that you just vibe with him, and I think that's why people connect with him. Not to mention he's got that whole gaming community. You always see these clips of him talking trash to people on there, playing games with them. He's just a real, authentic human being that is just like every one of us, it seems. But then when he goes out there and has these performances, it's unreal to see somebody with so much humility go out and do what he does. And I think that's why people love Max Holloway so much.
And if we're talking about Max Holloway, we can't not mention UFC 300 and what he did to the current undisputed lightweight champion of the world, Justin Gaethje. Beats him up for 5 rounds, a stunning performance, and then in the final 10 seconds, we know what he does. He points at the ground and he face plants him, knocks him out cold. Now that's going to be the worry for Conor McGregor. Yes, he's going to be dangerous in the first round. He'll come out like a madman. He'll be swinging that left hand, because remember, it was the left hand that took out Max Holloway when he fought Ilia Topuria. So the left hand's going to be dangerous. But once it gets out the first round, Max Holloway is going to pick up the pressure, the numbers, the volume, and he's going to do a lot of damage.
Well, Max Holloway outwardly has seemed to take this whole week in stride, because he's not used to being the villain, but obviously the hero's welcome has been what's there for Conor McGregor. And as promised, we say hello to Megan O'Leary, who's familiar with what a Conor McGregor fight week brings. Megan, we've seen the mental warfare in the past, seeming hatred, sometimes clever quips. The emotions this week, though, for Conor, they've been very positive.
And they really have in the lead up to this entire fight. In fact, I went to Dublin in June and spent some time with Conor McGregor, and there was a lot of positivity in our conversation, but perhaps there was nothing that made him light up more than one significant change there will be tonight, which some of the guys at the desk with you, Brendan, can relate to. Tonight, all of his children will actually be in attendance for the very first time. He told me it was very important for them to not only see his work inside the octagon, but also see everything that encompasses a Conor McGregor fight week. But something else worth noting when it comes to Conor and his performance and preparation, he's actually been with the world-renowned performance coach Tim Grover to prepare for this one. Now, Grover's focus in life is helping athletes find a winning mindset, and his resume certainly speaks for itself. He's worked with superstars, dominant players in their field like Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant. He also works with current athletes, superstars like Max Crosby, the Raiders defensive end, who we all know, of course, will be in attendance tonight. But I spoke with him briefly in Dublin, and I asked him why it's important to embed himself with his athletes, and he said he really needs to see where they are at in their mindset towards winning, so wherever he can help, he then will. And you know who's taken notice of Tim Grover being a part of McGregor's camp? Well, it's Max Holloway. In fact, he brought it up to us this week. He said he's read all of Tim Grover's books. He was really impressed by it. So when the Hawaiian says he is preparing for the best version of Conor McGregor, he means physically, mentally, and emotionally, guys.
How about
Not bad. Thanks very much, Megan. We'll check back in with you a bit later on. Michael, more on the mindset of Conor McGregor. I wonder what you have noticed this week in seeing the week unfold for him.
Yeah, but when he first got to Las Vegas, and a lot of people were doubting that, by the way. They went, oh, he's not on the embedded. But guess what? He showed up, of course, and he's going to show up tonight. But he started off very calm. It seemed like a different version of Conor McGregor until he gets in front of a crowd. And then when he got to the press conference, my word, what a performance. He's standing up. He's singing to the whole crowd. He's letting Max Holloway know exactly what he's going to do. The Mac is back. He was back on form. Will he come back and be victorious? We'll talk about that later. But so far, this week, so good.
You know, one thing that we all have in common, not you, Brendan, is that we've had a lot of injuries and a lot of comebacks.
A lot.
One of the things when you have this time off is that it could give you a different perspective on the game. You know, coming outside of it a little bit. You know, when you're in the thick of things from one fight to the next, it's just, you know, sometimes it's hard to see that this is just, you know, a sport. You know, it might like become too big. And so that the fact that he's had this time off, sometimes that new perspective change can really help you. It seems like he's found faith now. It seems like he's talked about he doesn't give a crap about the materialistic things, the Lambo yachts. Like he's talked about these purchases that he's made throughout his career.
Easy to say when you've got them.
That's true. Because I've never been a big materialistic guy, but I'll take a yacht. You know, I think that would be
nice
fun.
watch there, bro.
Well, thank you. It was I won a poker tournament, you know.
You know, the way I see this is martial arts is saving Conor McGregor's life. He's got the gift of gab. He knows how to entertain. He knows how to make you love him. But martial arts saves his life. His whole life is cleaned up. He's living in the gym. He's trimming up. I know for me, it saved my life. It kept me disciplined. It kept me waking up every morning for something. It kept me living with the hunger. When you have everything, you got to go and follow your heart. And I think we're finally seeing Conor McGregor follow his heart into this octagon. And that's why we're so hopeful to see where that takes him.
All right, well, that's a great look at Conor McGregor, and we'll continue to dive deep on that fight. You hear behind us, it's not just Conor who has an iconic walk, Paddy the Baddy as well. We haven't even gotten to the co-main event between Paddy the Baddy Pimblett and Benoit Saint-Denis. Much more to come. Max has seemingly done everything a fighter can do, but this weekend provides yet even more firsts for the Hawaiian. We'll look back on what he's done with his biggest opportunity at hand tonight. Tom Cruise dives deep on the X's and O's as to what he expects the game plan will be when it's time for the fight between McGregor and Holloway. And Conor later on sits down with CBS's Nate Burleson. Stay with us.
It's going to be a demolition. It's going to be an absolute demolition. To win alone is not just enough. It must be spectacular, and that it will be.
About it. Let's go.
Y'all gonna make me lose my mind. Up in here. Nobody's seen that coming. Y'all gonna make me.
Who's the gangster now?
Family does not leave family behind.
Y'all gonna make me.
You are a stone cold killer.
1, 2, give me a sound.
I want success. Get it for me.
This life here is gonna work, isn't it?
We'll make it work.
We'll break ourselves in half to give you a better life.
Rip and Beth have secrets. People with secrets can be useful.
We need to be careful with this family.
Find out what they know before it gets more complicated.
Family is the only thing worth fighting for. If either one of you want to walk, I won't hold it against you.
I'll be right next to you.
I've been so many places.
Life comes at you fast, whether you're ready for it or not. Everything has to come to an end.
I'm singing this song to you.
My center, my soul is gone.
The worry is what you do next.
Open your eyes.
Paramount Plus has a mountain of movies. Wow. New movies. Timeless movies. Guys who are running out of time movies. So get in on the latest blockbusters.
Trust me.
And relive the moments that get you every time.
And that's all I have to say about that.
A mountain of movies, now streaming on Paramount Plus.
In parallel to his UFC 329 opponent, Holloway's childhood surroundings laid the foundations for fighting. But natural talent and self-belief would see him rise to become a combat sports icon.
I'm from Waianae, Hawaii. A part of Hawaii where they take care of you, they see you struggling, they literally give you the shirt off their backs. But then if you look at somebody the wrong way, you're probably walking out there with a broken nose and 2 black eyes. You gotta be one tough mother effer coming out of Waianae. There's a reason why I'm one of the baddest mother effers in the world.
I fight for Waianae, like trying to show people that you're not a bad kid. Like fighting in the ring is more better than on the streets.
Us Hawaiians, we have a fighting culture and we're warriors. We love that.
Turning pro as a teenager, Holloway emerged as a talented prospect on the regional scene.
Max Holloway, he couldn't wait to turn 18 years old so he could fight professionally.
In 2012, he became the youngest fighter to join the UFC roster.
20 years old and already fighting in the Ultimate Fighting Championship.
And continued to show promise.
Proudly representing Waianae in Hawaii. This man is an absolute killer.
That is a sniper striker right there. He's so diverse for a young fighter.
To be the best, you gotta be the best. And the best is blessed.
This man is here for one reason.
That'll do it.
He's here to leave a legacy as the greatest fighter of all time.
And he doesn't run away from anything.
I always wanted to fight the best guys and prove that that's what I'm here for.
Anyone, anytime, anywhere.
He got it.
If you're not willing to fight the best guys coming up, then what the hell think you're gonna make yourself stick around?
He's gone on a tear, a who's who of everybody in the 145-pound division.
One thing led to another, and I got the undisputed title.
Max Holloway knocks down Jose Aldo. Max Holloway is the undisputed UFC featherweight champion. And Max Holloway is looking to stamp himself as one of the greatest pound-for-pound fighters of all time, and he is already in that discussion.
Max's high volume and tenacious style would see him lay claim to numerous all-time records during his historic tenure at featherweight.
700 strikes in one fight, that's absolutely insane.
The legacy confirmed as one of the greatest 145-pounders of all time. Max set his sights on a lofty ambition and a title worthy of his reputation.
Justin Gaethje, Max Holloway, 2 of the most popular, baddest fighters on the roster competing for this special title. Oh! With 1 second to go!
That's the greatest knockout of all time.
I want to put my name in the record books.
Max Holloway wants to find his way onto the Mount Rushmore of MMA fighters.
At the end of the day, I just wanted to fight who's who, and I did a pretty damn good job of doing that.
Well, the career numbers for Max Holloway are staggering. Here's just a few of them. He has the most featherweight wins in UFC history, the longest winning streak, the most finishes. He has the most significant strikes regardless of division in UFC history. Nobody's within 1,000 significant strikes of that number. Dominic Cruz, Max Holloway, he has kept busy. He has kept breaking new ground. Tonight up to 170 pounds for the first time in his UFC run.
Which is different, but to all you Max Holloway fans that are diehards for Max Holloway, he's got a lot of glimmers of hope in that first fight. I wouldn't say a lot, but he has some. Now, after the 5-year layoff, though, and the 8 fights for titles, BMF, this man is going to fight different. He's going to have more confidence. He knows who he is. So we're really going to see the best of Max Holloway, I think, in this fight.
Yeah, and absolutely. I mean, Max has got really good experience at going through long fights. Conor McGregor, as we know, is a knockout artist. But Max Holloway, of course, he can knock people out, but he's gone to lots of decisions, and I think that's really going to help him here tonight. Look at the fight that he had with Dustin Poirier. Again, the last man to beat Conor McGregor. The wars that he had with Alexander Volkanovski. You learn from all that time inside the octagon, and, of course, the records and the numbers, they speak for themselves.
You know how he's taken this very serious, especially the move up to welterweight, is for the very first time in his career, he brought in world champion caliber training partners. He's never really done that in the past. He brought in
with Jack Della Maddalena.
I do the Deep Water podcast with Dustin Poirier. He called Dustin Poirier. He was trying to bring him in, but Dustin had a conflict, but he couldn't go there. But the fact that he was bringing these people in, and he's so used to that comfortable environment of training with his guys out in Waianae, it just is very telling how serious he's taking this fight and how serious he's taking the move up to welterweight.
And Max Holloway's body type hasn't really changed. Yes, he's just not as sucked out. I think earlier this week he was weighing 184 pounds. So it's not like he's going to be tiny in there. He's the taller guy at 5'11". He does have a shorter reach, but his body type hasn't changed. Connor's fighting 170. He's got a lot more muscle on him.
Let's see the difference of his body now, Bisping, when we look at this highlight.
Yeah, go ahead, Dom. Let's break down the game footage and the striking attack of Max Holloway.
Look how lean he looks. That check hook right here is nice. He's definitely going to need these weapons off the center line, as you saw him land on Conor there. This high kick was another glimmer. I mean, it kind of sat him down for a second. Hold on, that right back kick is always going to be there against the southpaw for Max, because that is his strong weapon on the strong side. So Conor's going to want to look out for that as well. But the big thing is, look at this southpaw stance that he's using against Arnold Allen. He's able to hit a check hook here as well on the opposite side. Again, off the center line. You're going to want to stay off the center line with Conor because of that left hand that he has. And everything he does is powerful down the center line. This knee stomp right here will really keep Conor from being able to pressure him. We saw Conor use that on Max, but then set it up for the spin attacks. That's the exact same way Conor used it against Max when they first fought. So you saw Max has stolen a lot of those techniques as well. But when we're talking about Conor McGregor, I think he's watching the Ilya Topuria fight and thinking, I can do what Ilya did to him. And that's what Max also knows. Listen, I've got to stay off the center line. I've got to use the whole octagon. And the point down in the middle, I don't know if that favors him against Conor, but we're going to see him do it anyway.
I think it'll favor him in the last 10 seconds of the fight. If it gets to the 5th round, I don't know if we see Conor at his best.
Well, we've heard Dustin Poirier say he's actually good at that, but to be seen if we get to 4 minutes and 50 seconds.
Yeah, I have a hard time imagining that happen, to be honest, just because the gas tank issues that we've seen Conor in the past have, and then how good Max is throughout a whole 5-round fight. If we go back and look at the first fight that Max had with Conor, Max didn't pressure forward at all. He got pushed back, and Conor is so good when he gets into range, right on the edge of the range, and he either shoots his left hand, but if you end up striking him, he's a great counter striker, and that's where he puts people out. Max got backed up that entire fight. He got bullied. And in this fight, I think it's super important that he backs up Conor McGregor. But when you back up Conor McGregor, you're putting yourself in a position where you could possibly get hit. So it's just a very interesting, I think, for game plan-wise for both these guys.
Yeah, and also the time away. That's a curious one as well. Of course, Conor's been away for 5 years, so you talk about ring rust and stuff like that. But that's 5 years of rest and 5 years of not going through a training camp and people dragging your neck off and choking you out and having little niggling injuries. On the flip side, yeah, Max Holloway's been very, very active against the best competition in the world, but also there's wear and tear there as well. So it's hard to figure out, who's it a bigger advantage for?
Yeah, and we saw Dom break down some of that footage against Arnold Allen. Michael, we were on the call for that fight at Main Event in Kansas City. Max is such a master at keeping himself out of dangerous situations like he did there. Might he get ahead and just kind of put it on cruise control in the striking department if he has his way?
And that's exactly what he does. He gets in the zone. The footwork is phenomenal. The range management, the distance control. He's got excellent eyes, beautiful lateral movement. If he gets backed up to the octagon, he'll go to the side, he'll circle out, he'll take the center of the octagon. And it's just the pace, the pressure, picks the perfect shots. I mean, the man's the real deal. That's why he said, I'm the best boxer in the UFC, brah. Right? I don't know if he is, but he's certainly one of them.
When you watch the first fight with Conor, I like what Weidman said. You do have to push him back if you're Max, but in the first round, Conor is very aggressive in that first round, and he doesn't fight well moving back, and he knows that. That's why you saw in that first fight with Max, he stomped the knee 3-4 times before he even started putting his hands together and his rhythm together. And that's super important for Conor as well, because if you see Max use that technique, it's going to be a problem. They both have that skill, and we'll see who can use it better to push the other one back. And also, again, like we said about the Arnold Allen fight, we saw Max now has the technique to switch to southpaw. In their early fight, he was not using that. I'm not saying it's going to work against Conor, but it is an option to take away the early counters of Conor in that first and second round.
Well, with all this pressure and all this attention, Max Holloway has certainly taken in stride. He's looked very poised throughout fight week, including when he joined us on set yesterday, just after ceremonial weigh-ins. What an epic journey it has been from the west side of Oahu to fighting greatness. Max Blessed Holloway joins us on set here in advance of a huge fight in your career. Conor McGregor as an opponent has been on your radar for several years, I would imagine. What's it like to have this week finally be here?
It's exciting, man. It's exciting. I mean, I was seeing the polygraph had a percentage of him not showing, but he did it. We're here. We still got, what, less than 24 hours, but I'm excited.
Max, we talked about you having so many big moments, but this has to feel bigger. What did it feel like being up there with that energy with Conor McGregor in front of you?
What does the Brazilian say? It's normal. It's normal. It's normal for me already. You guys all know we've been championship caliber. Yeah, it's more people, but we've been here, done that. So I can't wait to go in there. It is what it is.
For this one, I don't think you usually bring in like these high-level sparring partners like you brought in for this one. You brought in Jack Della Maddalena, former welterweight champion. I know you were in touch with Dustin Poirier about bringing him out. Do you typically bring out these type of world caliber?
No. I usually just do everything, and then when Conor's name came up, we reached out to Dustin. Dustin had to do some stuff, so we reached out to JDM, and JDM ended up coming, and it was a great look. Former champion at this weight class, southpaw, boxing. You know, he does wrestling, you know, and has great ground. It was just a perfect body, man.
Max, I know you have more energy, obviously, because you're carrying a little bit more weight. It's 15-pound difference, and then it'll be more on fight night. How do you notice was the difference of your movements and your body movement in the fighting, in training for this fight with that extra weight?
Big time. It was huge. Just the power, the speed, and just focusing on performance. This whole camp was performance. Before, we got to be like, performance, but I still got to see some weight fall off, you know?
Yeah.
But this one was just performance, and I could feel it, man.
Still feel as fast?
I feel fast.
You know, Max, a lot of people talk about the boxing, right? You threw 700 punches against Calvin Kattar. You're one of the most active fighters inside of the octagon. Conor McGregor had an actual professional boxing bout. Do you anticipate he's going to be willing to stand with you in that realm? And do you believe that he can box you? Because last time, he wrestled with you, Max. Can Conor McGregor box with you for 25 minutes inside of an octagon?
We get to find out Saturday night, man. I can't wait. I'm excited. He called my, what do you call my boxing? Bimbo or Gimbo, whatever it is. I can't wait to show him.
Max, was his energy different tonight than it was yesterday at the press conference? Because yesterday, there was a bit of shoving and pushing. Today, it was a little bit more measured, and you guys were right face-to-face.
Yeah, for sure. You know, I just wanted to see how his energy was going to be. He's like famous for kicking people, so I was like, bro, please don't kick me today. And when he came up today, I was like, okay, cool. This is what we're going to do. We're going to stare at each other, and shout out to him. He was like, yeah, of course, a different energy. I think so he was mad that I was using the glasses. I really miss those glasses now, but man got me.
A lot of people think that he's going to be using wrestling, and it's hard for me to think that just because like it takes so much energy to be able to do that, especially in a 5-round fight. Where's your mindset with that? Are you expecting him to come out and actually wrestle you?
I mean, I didn't expect him to wrestle the first time, and he did. You know, at the end of the day, we get to find out. We see. I got to be ready for everything. You know, we just got to be ready for everything. I feel like we're going to see the best Conor McGregor tomorrow, and the best Conor McGregor is a mixed martial artist. So I'm excited.
Max, in the first fight, you were pushed back a lot in that. I know you saw the film a lot in that first fight. How important is it to move forward and then create the point down after that move forward in this fight?
It's huge. It's huge. Like you said, man, I did. You know, we watched it. I had some unfortunate things happen early in that fight for me, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. We're here now, and I can't wait to right my wrong.
So you're going to be moving forward, and how important is it, though, honestly, to not get moved back in this fight compared to forward? Does that change everything?
We see what happens. Maybe I switch it up. Maybe I move forward. Maybe I move back. I can't.
You've also gone southpaw. Are you going to be throwing that in there?
That should be fun. You know, is this are you in Conor's camp? That's my next question.
Don't trust him.
I'm with you. I want to see what happens.
Well, what a championship resume Max Holloway has put together since he last fought Conor McGregor way back in 2013. Much more to come here from Las Vegas. We're looking at Alessandro Costa, who stayed busy. He fights for the third time in just over 3 months. He's already won 2 fights in 2026. He has the honor of leading off UFC 329 against Cody Durden, who got a victory over Jafel Filho in his most recent outing. The fighter from just outside Atlanta, Georgia, looks to give the Stars and Stripes a victory to start the day. The UFC 329 pre-shows presented by Buffalo Trace Bourbon, American-owned and proudly American-made. Stay with us.
I cannot wait to write the story and to write the following pages. And I believe I'm better in a lot of aspects, and I do believe he believes the same.
I said it before, I'll say it again, I'm a scout and I'm not getting knocked out. I envision us going at each other like a car crash. When that cage door shut, I see us both trying to knock each other out.
Let's go.
Y'all gonna make me lose my mind. Up in here, nobody's seen that coming. Y'all gonna make me.
Who's the gangster now?
Family does not leave family behind.
Y'all gonna make me happy.
You are a stone cold killer.
1, 2, hit me outside.
I want success. Get it for me.
This life here is gonna work, isn't it?
We'll make it work.
We'll break ourselves in half to give you a better life.
Rip and Beth have secrets. People with secrets can be useful.
We need to be careful with this family.
Find out what they know before it gets more complicated.
Family is the only thing worth fighting for. If either one of you want to walk, I won't hold it against you.
I'll be right next to you.
I've been so many places.
Life comes at you fast, whether you're ready for it or not. Everything has to come to an end.
I'm singing this song to you.
My center, my soul is gone.
The worry is what you do next.
Open your eyes.
Paramount Plus has a mountain of movies. Wow. New movies. Timeless movies. Guys who are running out of time movies. So get in on the latest blockbusters.
Trust me.
And we live the moments that get you every time.
And that's all I have to say about that.
A mountain of movies, now streaming on Paramount Plus.
This guy dug up $5 billion for businesses during COVID.
For most businesses, insurance is a huge expense, yet they have no idea what they're buying.
Traditional brokers, they stop as soon as they start that policy.
For us, it's a starting line. Make sure what you have built is genuinely protected. That's our job.
All this guy does is hit home runs for businesses all over America. You can focus on running your business and let SuperSure focus on running your insurance.
It's terrifying what happens when car warranties expire. As soon as they do, cars are quitting on the job. It's like they're possessed.
Oh, stop.
Hey, man, you got a little something there. And without protection, even simple repairs could cost you thousands. That's why there's Car Shield. Or don't get Car Shield and maybe get your car an exorcism instead. Someone should help her.
Car Shield. Protection when it counts.
What an absolute scene in Las Vegas, Nevada, as Patrick Pimblett makes the walk for his first UFC championship fight. Right now, one of the best lightweights in the world, and out to prove as much against Justin Gaethje tonight.
Going into the fight, everything was perfect. You know what I mean? I felt great.
Oh! Good knee for Pimblett, an uppercut from Gaethje.
You know, just tried to stand and bang with Justin Gaethje's whole forte is standing and banging. And
oh, nice right hand. Oh!
The better man won on the night. The best thing that I took from that fight was that I can hang with one of the best in the world for 5 rounds and he's not finishing me. As soon as that fight finished, it was like, I want to get another fight soon as. I have to just come back and it's all about redemption now.
Make no mistake about it, this man is a killer.
Oh! There it is, the king of the North!
I said it before, I'll say it again. I'm a scouser, I'm not getting knocked out. I think people actually believe that now after watching me last fight.
Oh! Wow! Eddie the Batty Pimblett! Wow!
I'll show everyone why I belong to be on a card like this.
This man is just intensity personified. Brings absolute violence every single time.
Oh! Head kick! Oh,
massive head kick! Benoit Saint-Denis!
There is so much pressure to be a champion or to be near the belt. But no, I'm enjoying the process. I have learned a lot from my mistakes and I try to enjoy the moment. to have a pressure, to feel pressure as a privilege. And this is the fight I'm looking for.
He is absolutely one of the most ferocious men to ever step foot in the octagon.
Oh! That'll do it just
like that! Goodness.
That no-quit personality has now allowed him to reel off 4 wins in a row.
Round number 1 contender, I'm gonna take the spot. I'm here to be the champion.
I cannot wait to write the story and to write the following pages, which I am expecting to be huge. It's in my DNA, it's the way I'm fighting, it's the way I'm training. I'm really focused and I'm really tough mentally.
Oh! He crumples in the god of war, Benoit Saint-Denis.
Let's test who is the tougher.
I envision us going at each other like a car crash.
Paddy Pimblett!
When that cage door shuts, I see us both trying to knock each other out.
And I believe I'm better in a lot of aspects, and I do believe he believes the same. We will discover that soon.
The crowd's going to go bananas when I finish BSD. This is going to be a very violent fight. I hope it's a violent fight.
I see a bloodbath, a war, and I see a very tough fight.
Benoit Saint-Denis!
Enjoy the show.
Well, it was Max Holloway who delivered the line that the fireworks for 4th of July last Saturday were but an appetizer for what we will see tonight. We'll borrow that and say the extra fireworks are the co-main event at lightweight between championship contenders from France and England in Benoit Saint-Denis and Paddy Pimblett. A look at the numbers and the matchup on paper. High stakes, especially after Justin Gaethje just unified the belt in this division with his impressive win over Ilia Topuria. England has had a star in Paddy the Baddy. Many wondered, would he follow through and be able to deliver at the championship level? He came up just short, Bisping, but he kind of fell forward in that regard, and he has to be feeling extra confident after what he saw Gaethje do.
His stock went up in a loss, which is very, very rare, but against Justin Gaethje, he answered a lot of questions. He showed that he does have that dog in him, that he has a chin, that he can hurt people like Justin Gaethje, and there's no quitting this man. We've seen beautiful performances where he's ultra slick, like the submission over King Green. We've seen devastating violence like the beatdown over Michael Chandler, where he got on top of him and just those 12-6 elbows and the horrific look on Michael Chandler's face. But then last time out, we saw that he was a dog, that he can give it, that he can take it, that he's got a chin, that he can go 5 rounds. And right now, seeing Justin Gaethje as the champion, he's very, very motivated. He knows that he belongs. And both of these guys, Paddy and Benoit, they're looking at this as a potential title eliminator.
Yeah, listen, his confidence has always been through the roof, and to see what he did with Justin Gaethje, he was a grappler. He didn't have one takedown attempt against Justin Gaethje, and he did a 5-round fight with him. And then to watch Justin Gaethje do what he did against Ilia Topuria on the feet is just a huge confidence boost for him. And you know, his hands are just very heavy. He has a granite chin, and then he's just so dangerous on the ground. He's really showing to just evolving and show how good he is.
BSD finds a way to just stay on the gas pedal and move forward the entire time, but with Paddy Pimblett, he has a way of using the whole octagon. He can fight moving backwards. We've seen him hurt people moving backwards. So that's why I love this fight, because it brings that little wrinkle for BSD to deal with. You got to fight somebody who can knock you out moving backwards. But with 5 takedowns per round that he stats in his analytics, this is why BSD takes people down and holds them down. He's a judo black belt, but Paddy Pimblett also has a BJJ black belt. I'm looking forward to the submission battle in this fight. They've got 21 combined submission finishes together. So we're going to see a very cool fight on the ground.
Yeah, and double digits for Paddy the Baddy, who has 10 wins by tap out. Chris, what do you think his game plan will be when it starts to unfold against BSD?
I think he has to go back to that Michael Chandler fight and watch that, because Michael Chandler and Benoit Saint-Denis actually are kind of similar. You know, they both have heavy hands on the feet. They both are wrestlers. And what he did to Michael Chandler was super impressive. And he used his wrestling, he used his grappling, he used his ground and pound. And I think that version of Paddy is the version that we need to see tonight.
I was talking to Paddy the other day. He fully expects Benoit Saint-Denis to come at him like a madman, just like he did against Dustin Poirier. That's what Benoit Saint-Denis does. There is no no fear in this man. He's going to go at him. He's going to swing like a maniac. He's going to look for that tie clinch. He's going to look to knock him out. And if he can get a takedown, he'll get a takedown. Paddy expects that, and he also expects to catch him as he's coming in. Got to remember, he hurt Justin Gaethje a few times. Those uppercuts that he throws, the knees, the timing that he has on them, and the weird angles that Paddy uses. It's a little unorthodox. The chin is a little high. The punches come at a weird angle. But because they do come at a weird angle, they land. They are effective, and there's a good amount of power as well.
Do you guys think that Benoit Saint-Denis is going to hesitate to take down Paddy because of the jiu-jitsu of Paddy?
I don't think he can. He doesn't have a choice. He has to fight moving forward. He has to use his offense as his defense when you're talking about BSD, because he just overwhelms you and makes you tired, and then that is his defense. You don't get an opening to clip him. But like Michael Bisping said, when you're moving back, Paddy has these weird tricks where his chin's up, it looks awkward, but he finds a knee up the middle. He finds an uppercut. He steps off the center line and clips you with the hook. These little skills that he has while moving back and moving along the octagon are gonna really serve him against a BSD who uses non-stop gas pedal offense.
All right, we'll see if he can use this co-headliner as a springboard to get back into a title fight. Speaking about Paddy the Baddy Pimblett, he's not a superstar that came out of nowhere. He was very highly touted for years in the MMA circles. He has followed through to become that star. Paddy Pimblett joined Megan O'Leary yesterday.
Well, thank you so much, guys. Paddy, you talked to us earlier this week. You said you felt like you peaked maybe a little bit early in the last camp in terms of the weight and everything. How did this weight cut feel?
Perfect. You know, it always makes me laugh, these silly idiots commenting on things. Oh, he looks trained, he's this, he's that. This is the easiest weight cut I've had in a while. Felt perfect doing it. I even had to cut a few pounds before I come to the press conference yesterday just to get started. And I got it at the schedule, and I felt brilliant doing it. I cannot wait for this.
Well, obviously your energy is great right now, so recovery from the weight cut is going really well. You said, I think me and BSD could be fight of the night. Why do you feel like that?
Because he's a scrapper. Give him his due, he comes forward and he likes to bang, and as you know, so do I. So we could end up being in for a scrap here, but I think I get him out of there, to be honest. I think my technical ability is much better than his. Like, no disrespect to him, I think he's a great fighter, but I think my technical ability is far superior to his when it comes to striking, jiu-jitsu, and even wrestling. You know, my wrestling gets underestimated a lot. I should have shot in a lot earlier on Justin Gaethje, but I never, and the rest is history.
I'm glad you mentioned that fight, because what can you take from that war against Justin Gaethje that you could carry into the preparation for this one and then future fights inside the octagon?
Well, I know that the lightweight world champion can walk me down for 5 rounds and I'll keep swinging no matter what to the final bell. And that's the sort of fighter BSD is. I think he's a mixture between Justin Gaethje and Michael Chandler. He just hasn't got like the technical ability, because his grappling when Chandler wrestles is like that, and his striking, it's nowhere near as clean. Don't get me wrong, as Justin Gaethje, but he throws everything into every punch and every kick. So I think he's a little bit of the mix of them both, but just not as good technically. I think Benoit is a brilliant fighter. He is, but I'll show everyone there's levels.
And we can't wait for this one. Paddy, I saw a little preview of your walkout. We're so excited for this one. It always gets the crowd going. We appreciate you as always. Have fun. We'll see you after the fight. Guys, back to you.
Started his career with 7 straight UFC victories. We'll see if he gets back on the winning track impressively in a big spotlight. Michael, I'll go to you. We've had Tom Aspinall, who is the heavyweight champion. Leon Edwards has won a gold belt, but you were the first to carry that English flag.
There can only be one.
Into a UFC champion. Speak to what Paddy has done, though, with the spotlight on him every step of the way, and he's on the cusp.
Paddy's a little bit different because he has caught this younger demographic. Even before he was with the UFC, he was selling out arenas, and there was just thousands of people, and Paddy Mania, it was a real thing, and people love this guy. I've got 2 sons. They both have girlfriends. They don't ask me anything about UFC. Apart from one person, they have both asked me, hey, do you know Paddy the Baddy? The other one came in and said, do you know Paddy the Daddy? I'm like, Paddy the Daddy, don't you mean the baddie? They went, no. There's a whole side on TikTok, a bunch of memes. He's a bit of a sex symbol, apparently. I don't see him like that.
Oh, my goodness,
but
okay.
Yeah, like all the young girls, they absolutely love this guy, I'm telling you. So behind the haircut, behind the fun, the games, he's very strategic. He's always had a massive fan base, and that's why when he walks in here later, it is like a rave, okay? He dances, the crowd crowd absolutely loves it. The chants, the cheers.
Yeah.
He brings a lot of enjoyment to the octagon.
Well, a Beatles-style haircut, and
There
he
you
does
go.
come from Liverpool, so we'll
does.
see if he can
And did you
come
know,
from...
Scousers don't get knocked
That's
out.
what he says, and he has proven that every step of the way in the UFC. Much more to come as Dom Cruz dives into the X's and O's and what we might see from Conor McGregor when his showdown with Max Holloway starts. Stay with us.
Let's go.
Nobody's seen that coming.
Who's a gangster now? Family does not leave family behind.
You are a stone cold killer.
I want success. Get it for me. This life here is gonna work, isn't it?
We'll make it work.
We don't break ourselves in half to give you a better life.
Rip and Beth have secrets. People with secrets can be useful.
We need to be careful with this family.
Find out what they know before it gets more complicated.
Family is the only thing worth fighting for. If either one of you want to walk, I won't hold it against you.
I'll be right next to you.
I've been so many places.
Life comes at you fast, whether you're ready for it or not. Everything has to come to an end.
I'm singing this song to you.
My center, my soul is gone.
The worry is what you do next.
Open your eyes.
Paramount Plus has a mountain of movies. Wow. New movies. Timeless movies. Guys who are running out of time movies. So get in on the latest blockbusters.
Trust me.
And we live the moments that get you every time.
And that's all I have to say about that.
A mountain of movies, now streaming on Paramount Plus.
The UFC 329 pre-show is presented by Buffalo Trace Bourbon for those who blaze their own trace. In just minutes, top of the hour, they will open T-Mobile Arena. Fans will come streaming in. Thank you for joining us for the UFC 329 pre-show. Hall of Famers Dominic Cruz, Chris Weidman, Michael Bisping. I am Brendan Fitzgerald. And Conor McGregor, he has seemingly done everything you can do in the fight game. Something that he promised when he said, famously, we are not here to take part. We are here to take over. He has indeed done just that.
I am of the belief that there is no such thing as talent.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the moment you truly all been waiting for.
I'm not talented, I am obsessed.
The pride of Ireland.
I believed, and I worked for that belief. And then, into reality it came.
In a span of just 2 years, this young man has gone from relative unknown to superstardom around the world. Looking to finish it here. This is what everyone's been talking about. It's all over. Conor McGregor, another first-round win. Wow.
I wanted to come over here to America and show the American public the new era of the fighting Irish.
Brandon looks hurt. This could be the end. Big left. This could be an early stoppage. That is it. The crowd go absolutely wild.
I said it last year. We're not here just to take part. We're here to take over.
He is truly a once-in-a-lifetime talent. The absolute nature of his confidence is compelling. You want to hear him talk. You want to hear him brag.
These people are not on my level.
I'm gonna rip his head off.
The king speaks however he wants. I'm going to wipe out everyone in this division. I said that, and I will do it.
You want to see if he can pull it off. Oh, he's hurt! Could he finish him here? It's all over! Interim featherweight champion!
People are always saying about the talk, and I talk, and I talk, and I talk, but guess what?
Oh! He slapped him!
I back it up.
Oh, my God! Fastest title fight fight finish ever.
I'm always looking to make history every single day. Eddie's getting his ass whooped and slipped.
It is all over. History has been made.
The UFC's first simultaneous two-division champion.
I dreamed into reality.
I seek to push myself, to challenge myself, take risks.
The biggest star in mixed martial arts history, and it's not even close. He made Floyd Mayweather, the greatest fighter of all time, listen to him and eventually fight him.
That's one unique human being right there, ladies and gentlemen.
In the whole history of MMA, nobody has done what I have done.
He is as special as he says he is.
The notorious Conor McGregor!
Oh, just a bit of the incredible career of Conor McGregor, the first, of course, champ. And everybody wanted it after that. He took care of Jose Aldo in just 13 seconds. He was barely a betting favorite in that matchup. That was part of his incredible run, 10 performance awards in the UFC. Michael, if it was a Hollywood script, you wouldn't believe it. It's just too perfect what he did, but when you look back, it's incredible how real it was and how magical that ride it was to superstardom.
Well, the kids these days, they love to talk about manifestation, and it all kind of comes from Conor McGregor. He was doing what Ilia Topuria was doing recently years ago. He was setting his stall out, he was backing it up, he was knocking them out in spectacular fashion and doing things that no one else had done before, like going off and boxing Floyd Mayweather, making $100 million in that fight, and by the way, doing very, very well. He doesn't need to come back and fight for money, and that's why I really respect him taking this fight, because you know why he's coming back? Because he wants to prove to the world that he's still got it. He wants to prove to himself that I'm still one of the best fighters on the planet. He's coming back to at 170, taking on a very dangerous guy that's been very active, because he wants to prove to the world, to himself, because as fighters, Chris, you know, right? We pride ourselves on our fighting ability, and he's questioning, do I still have it? Have I still got it? And he wants to step in that octagon and find out.
Dom, I wonder, on that rise, when did you start buying into, man, this guy really is something special?
Well, he really did start calling his shots. And the thing as fighters is you don't want to get ahead of yourself. Like we said, well, we saw Ilia Topuria have the celebration before the fight, but then you always know in the back of your head it's not 100%. And if you lose, now you got to go watch yourself celebrate something that you lost. So he's had that manifestation and that true self-delusional belief that we all need to have in order to win. Sometimes it's delusional, sometimes it creates and manifests, but you're better off believing you're going to win and there's no chance of losing than you are even a smidget of thought that you're going to lose. And so when he called his shots, followed through and did it, you have to respect that.
His self-belief is real. His confidence is real. I remember the first time I met him, it was this big press conference getting ready for the big main events coming up for pay-per-views. This is back when he was fighting Dennis Seaver. It was going to be his first main event. And you got Anderson Silva, John Jones, Shogun Rua, all the who's who of the UFC, all these accomplished champions and legends in this one room. There's no cameras there. And Conor McGregor just stole the show. He is just over-talking everybody, talking trash to Dennis Seaver, and we're like, who the hell does this guy think he is? Next thing you know, he's teaching Anderson Silva techniques. And this is at a time, like, nobody teaches Anderson Silva things. So right
unless
away,
you're
I'm
Steven
like...
Seagal.
Unless you're Steven Seagal.
Steven Seagal shows in front kicks right before the fights, and it's Steven Seagal's, to his credit, that Anderson Silva won.
And that's why Anderson Silva is great, is because of Steven Seagal. And maybe because of Conor McGregor, you know.
No, but Conor McGregor would beat people before the fight even started. It was like Mike Tyson back in the day. He would get in their heads, he would talk to them, he would make them doubt themselves, and then, of course, all the previous performances, they would see that and then not show up. Look at Jose Aldo. He's normally cool as a cucumber. Ran at Conor McGregor like a maniac because Conor got in his head. Yeah. Eddie Alvarez, a phenomenal fighter, but he didn't really show up against Conor McGregor because he had already crumbled him mentally.
Well, we'll see what Max Holloway has, you would think, on the feet for Conor McGregor. Of his 20 finishes, 19 by knockout. Dom, what do you expect when it's time to close the gates behind Conor McGregor and Max Holloway on the McGregor side of things?
I mean, if he does everything like he did in their first fight against Max, then he's going to be great. This knee stomp right here got Max thinking right off the bat, uh-oh, I can't move forward too much or else he's going to blow my knee out. There it is again. And then that sets up his spin attacks. After he lands that a couple times, you get biting on that. and then you're like, man, I gotta back up. The backup is what sets up the spin attacks, and it also keeps you from being able to be as powerful. This switch kick is also set up by that knee stomp. It looks like he's gonna go to the knee, and he ends up coming up top with the left high kick. He mixed up the wrestling in this bout also early, but mostly in the third round. Once he gets his hands locked up against the fence, he was able to do a good job at not just taking Max down, but he got to mount. He passed his guard. He stayed in half guard. But look at the way he counters the right hand of his opponents when they're in a conventional stance. He waits for it, he slips it, and he follows through with the power. He has so much belief in that. Even after he gets clipped with his own shot by Aldo, his landed harder, faster, and sooner. And his timing and his counter ability is what makes him so special. And the way that he can pull out your shot before you throw it because of this lead hand fight is just very, very well executed by a real true southpaw.
Well, he promises mixed martial arts. Michael, is it realistic to think that Conor might show a new shade of his
No,
game?
it's not.
I'll
tell you right now, listen, he shot against Max Holloway in the third round because he blew out his ACL. I was with Conor McGregor when he found out. We were in Laguna Beach, California. Dana was just up the road. We were sitting in a bar having a little beer. Dana comes down, tells him to his face. That's why he shot for a takedown. And I know there's footage out there of Conor McGregor throwing a left hand and then shooting on a body shield thing or whatever, a dummy bag, right? Yeah. He's not putting that on social media if that's his game plan, right? And also, wrestling is very taxing. He's not a wrestler. Nate Diaz would say, oh, you're a wrestler now? No, he's going to go out. He's going to swing for the fences. I will put my life on it. I'll put this watch on it. Yeah. I'll bet my whole career.
Oh,
the only time he wrestles is when he starts to get tired. If he starts to get tired, you're going to see him grabbing, and that's when guys wrestle.
But I don't think that's going to end up being a good game plan for him. But it's just a survival instinct.
That ain't wrestling, though. That's when someone's beating you up and you grab a hold of them to clinch to try and save yourself. That's not offensive wrestling.
Now, can I imagine him hitting a takedown if Max overextends himself on a punch and he just so happens to be on a double leg and he just gets an easy takedown? Yes, but do I see him grinding on Max, taking him down, trying to hold him down? There's no way. Max just got beat by Charles Oliveira, who's one of the greatest submission artists in the history of the UFC. He didn't get submitted. So what is Conor gonna do when he takes down Max Holloway? Like, what is the point?
Well, he's going to drive elbows into his face.
I think we all know he's not looking to wrestle. I think that it is adjustment. If Max can keep the fight moving forward, I think then you'll see Conor look to grab and reach so that he's not getting pushed back. But other than that, moving forward, Conor is going to do what he does. He's going to box, and he's going to counter, and he's going to look to take away the right hand of Max Holloway.
Conor is going to come out very, very hot. He's going to cut the cage off straight away. He's going to run at him. He's going to throw spinning wheel kicks. He's going to throw left hands with everything that he's got because he's going to try and knock him out cold in the very first round. And that is a real possibility because he does have that kind of power. We can't forget, and power is the last thing to go. And if people talk about, well, he's been away for 5 years, and he was partying, and he was on the boats, and he was going to the beach and all this kind of thing. So what? Who cares? He's still the same person. This is a person that was a 2-weight division champion. When I was fighting, in between my fights, I'd party a little bit as well. I would get a little bit intoxicated, right? But then for 8 weeks, I would turn it on and I would come back and I would have some of the best cardio the UFC's ever seen. So forget about that. Yeah. But he's going to come out, he's going to swing for the fences, and it's going to be great.
Well, I want you to do me a favor. Over the next hour and for the rest of the night, I want you to stay away from that Buffalo Trace bottle.
Are you in touch?
No, partying is for after.
I think the show would be better.
Well,
I'll
we won't find
time.
out, luckily, and we'll keep our jobs. Much more to come on this day of UFC 329. Stay with us.
About it. Let's go.
Nobody's seen that coming.
Who's a gangster now? Family does not leave family behind.
You are a stone cold killer. I want success. Get it for me.
This life here is gonna work, isn't it?
We'll make it work.
We don't break ourselves and have to give you a better life.
Rip and Beth have secrets. People with secrets can be useful.
We need to be careful with this family.
Find out what they know, or it gets more complicated.
Family is the only thing worth fighting for. If either one of you want to walk, I won't hold it against you.
I'll be right next to you.
I've been so many places.
Life comes at you fast, whether you're ready for it or not. Everything has to come to an end.
I'm singing this song to you.
My center, my soul is gone.
The worry is what you do next.
Open your eyes. Paramount Plus has a mountain of movies. Wow. New movies. Timeless movies. Guys who are running out of time movies. So get in on the latest blockbusters.
Trust me.
And we live the moments that get you every time.
And that's all I have to say about that.
A mountain of movies, now streaming on Paramount Plus.
The UFC 329 pre-show is presented by Buffalo Trace Bourbon for the perfectly untamed. I'll look at the stratosphere, which towers over the Las Vegas Strip. We've talked about the main event and the co-main event. Let's get into some of these other great fights, including top contenders at 135 pounds. The last time we saw Corey Sandhagen, he was in the octagon against Merab Dvalishvili with the UFC bantamweight belt on the line last October. He returns for his first fight this year against Mario Bautista. These two fought way back in 2019. They have grown into contenders, and they are in a big fight tonight, Dom.
This is the perfect time to have these two fight. They both switch stance. They both have very good footwork. They both like to move in every direction in the octagon, and they both have some submissions to their name, but it's not really primarily what they look to use. This is a fun fight for the fans. High-level tactics, high-level mixed martial arts where they mix everything together where it comes to takedown, striking, kicking, kneeing, elbowing. These guys are the best of the best in this division. I'm excited to watch this matchup.
Yeah, this is such a technical matchup, and it's one of the ones that I'm really struggling to pick a winner in. Mario Bautista is just on incredible form. Then you got Corey Sandhagen. Yeah, he lost to Merab Dvalishvili, but he made him work. Outside of that, I mean, Corey Sandhagen's tall, he's long. The fight IQ is off the charts as well. If it hits the ground, he's very good there. Striking's beautiful to watch. He's the whole package.
I agree. This one's a really hard one for me to pick, and it's interesting because this is a rematch. Bautista lost to him in his UFC debut, and it was by armbar. But if you go back and watch Bautista's last fight, he looked amazing in the jiu-jitsu realm. He took down Vinicius Oliveira, submitted him. He had a Kimura transition to the back, beautiful rear naked choke. So for me, the interesting take is who's going to be initiating wrestling? And in my view, I think Bautista is going to be trying to take down Corey Sandhagen. I think Sandhagen is a little bit more technical on the feet. Bautista a little bit tougher in the pocket, maybe a heavier puncher. But I think wrestling is going to be an X factor in this fight.
Bautista, not just a win in his last outing, that was in a main event. He kind of really crossed over into this new level of contender, and he will continue to do so if he gets into the top 5 by beating Corey Sandhagen. Speaking of a main event win in his last outing, Lonnie Kavanaugh against Brandon Moreno. This was on short notice, and he got in there, went down to Mexico City, and he turned back a superstar in the sport. Now he's got a different Brandon Royval, and Lonnie Kavanaugh against Royval is a great matchup. Kavanaugh the betting favorite here, Mike.
Lonnie Kavanaugh will be a champion one day. I'm calling it right now. The performance that he had against Brandon Moreno, it was sublime. The speed of the strikes is phenomenal. The in and out footwork. I mean, the man can do it all. Of course, he's got a tough matchup against Brandon Royval. Royval was the first person to beat Tatsudo Taira. But I'm telling you, Lonnie Kavanaugh, I am so impressed with this guy. Went up to Mexico City, altitude, short notice as well. Took that fight on 3 weeks' notice. And yeah, it went to a decision. But those first 3 rounds, my word, he put it on Brandon Moreno in a way that we've never seen.
I like this fight because Royval has the type of style where, again, he's one of these move-forward fighters that just throws nonstop offense as his defense. His defense isn't the top of the level, but you're going to kind of need that against a Loner Kavanaugh because he's a sharpshooter. He hits hard, and he looks for that one-shot knockout, which is different for this weight class. I think that's what makes him a star or a potential star growing into it, is because of the way that he can knock you out. But it's going to be tough with Royval. overthrowing everything, mixing in the knees. I mean, he just hits you with everything in the kitchen sink. So I'm curious to see how Lohner deals with that type of offense.
Yeah, I think it is a big step up, I think, for Lonnie Kavanaugh. Brandon Royval has been in there with some of the best guys and has beat some of the best guys in the division. And he's just so dangerous. He's so tough. He could take shots. But he is coming off one of his first knockout losses against Manel Kape.
He just beat a former champion, Chris, in Brandon Moreno. You got to remember that.
But I don't know if Brandon Moreno was the same Brandon Moreno that Royval fought.
But it was Brandon Moreno in Mexico City in front of his home people.
I'm sure he wanted to win. No, it was a great win. He did a good job stopping takedowns, keeping on the feet, and knocking out a guy like Brandon Moreno, who's got great boxing as well.
Brendan, should we talk about the fight?
Well, go ahead. I mean, leading off the main card, King Green against Terrence McKinney. Terrence McKinney is Mr. First Round Finish, and there's a bit of bad blood here, Michael, that adds to it.
Yeah, this analysis from me has the potential to be longer than this fight. Now, Bobby Green or King Green is very upset at Terrence. He was big brothering him, taking care of him, giving him words of advice, helping him out with sponsorship deals and stuff like that. He said, we'll never fight. And then Terrence McKinney gets offered a matchup and he takes it. So now, as I said, there's a little bit of bad blood. Now, Terrence McKinney is the most violent man on the UFC roster, and he's also the most inconsistent. It is literally kill or be killed. 17 seconds, 20 seconds, whatever it is. He has some phenomenal finishes. But then if he doesn't get that, he then gets finished. He truly is live by the sword, die by the sword. We know King Green's going to have his hands down. He's going to be talking. He's going to walk him down, moving, looking to box. This is going to be ridiculous.
Well, you weren't joking. That was pretty long-winded. I guarantee this fight. This fight is definitely going to be shorter than that. Holy smokes. Terrence McKinney Am I coming at you right now? No, I'm not picking on you. No, I'm just saying that was a great analysis and breakdown. But this fight with Terrence McKinney and King Green, King Green fights with his hands down. Terrence McKinney, every one of his fights is ending in the first or second round, whether he's winning or losing. And I guarantee it's going to be shorter than that speech you just gave.
Yeah, Bisping's breakdown is longer than McKinney's fights. But against Bobby Green, you got a tougher fight because he's so hard to hit. It's like trying to hit a double M ball, that one that bounces all over the place on the string. He's everywhere, and he moves the whole octagon. But if McKinney gets him moving back, it's tough. We've seen Bobby Green get knocked out when he gets moved back. That is the key to beating him. But moving that man back is a different type of story. He's got so much experience. He's got a lot of knockouts, and he can also wrestle. That's something Bobby Green don't remember. A lot of people don't remember about Bobby Green is that he can shoot underneath your punches, too.
So can Terrence McKinney, though. He was a wrestler.
Oh, he was a decorated wrestler in his day. And with all that hype and expectations of first-round finishes in Seattle a few months ago, he goes out there and he got it done inside of 30 seconds. 7 straight fights for Terrence McKinney have not gotten past the first 5 minutes. Here's a look at the prelims. Special note, too, there's a side cast tonight on Paramount Plus with Dean Thomas and Theo Vaughn, comedian, UFC super fan. You know him and you love him. The last 2 hours of the prelim window. Some big names on this, including the former champ Cody Garbrandt, a budding prospect from England, and Luke Riley. Big things expected of him as he takes on Kai Kamaka. Tracy Cortez has been in the UFC main event. Wong Tong is a big prospect in that division from China as well. Action fighters up and down. We'll talk more about Gable Steveson a bit later as well in his UFC debut. But right now we go to that featured prelim. And the former champion at middleweight, Robert Whittaker, 185 pounds. Your division, Michael. Your division, Chris, against Nikita Krylov. Whittaker no longer hitting the scale in the 180s. He's a light heavyweight moving forward.
He used to be a welterweight. Look at him. He's a big boy now. He's one of the greatest middleweights of all time. His fights with Yoel Romero are going to go down in history. He's so lightning fast. He's got a nasty jab. He switches stances. He's very dangerous. But Nikita Krylov is huge. He's 6'4", very heavy hands, very, very heavy kicks. Anything that he touches you with he puts you out. And there's a lot of question marks with him going up in weight, and I'm excited to see it.
Yeah, it's tough when you move up in weight because now Krylov has the potential to be able to eat all the big shots. That's what we saw with Ilia Topuria-Gaethje, is that size made a difference for the durability. I'll be curious how Weidman chooses to deal with that. Is he going to headhunt? Is he going to look for that left hook that he's so good at finding? The right high kicks are always going to work for him against a big, tall man like Krylov. But I think going to the body for Whittaker is going to be one of the key instruments he's going to want to use, especially early early in the fight to set up his bigger shots as the fight moves on. But we'll see if he does it.
And the speed advantage. I mean, he should have a huge speed advantage.
He will be the faster man. He's definitely got the faster footwork, probably the cleaner boxing and striking in general. But Nikita Krylov, as you said, he's a big guy, and he's kind of, he's inconsistent. When he's on, right? He's got beautiful jiu-jitsu, a karate black belt, very dangerous submissions on the ground. But when you saw them side by side there at the weigh-ins, you could really see that size difference. As you mentioned, used to be a welterweight. Now he's cutting down from 220 pounds. So he's a real light heavyweight. He will be a little bit slower, but I still think he'll be the faster man on the night.
Krylov's first round is dangerous. He's 23 first-round finishes.
Yeah, and not just a winner, a finisher. 31 pro wins for Nikita Krylov, 29 inside the distance. Dangerous challenge for Robert Whittaker on his way up. Well, we are, of course, excited for Conor McGregor's return for what he has done in his career. But part of what makes the fight game so exciting is figuring out who the next superstar is. Not just another UFC debut tonight for a wrestler who has won at every single level and looks for the same stardom in the octagon beginning tonight.
I grew up in Portage, Indiana, but I moved to Apple Valley, Minnesota when I was 11 years old. Apple Valley was a huge sports town. We had 3 first-round NBA draft picks come out of that high school. The wrestling team was #1 in the country at the time. You had to go out there and be a dominant wrestler, so that was just a part of the nature of Apple Valley, Minnesota. I was born on the mat. When I came out the womb, I was ready to wrestle. My oldest brothers wrestled, and it was a lifestyle for us. My achievements growing up that I'm most proud of is 4-time state champion, 4-time Big Ten champion at the heavyweight division. I'm a 2-time Dan Hodge Trophy winner. I'm the only heavyweight to ever do so. As a young kid, I've always dreamed to be an Olympic champion, and I knew I was going to achieve it. Everything in life that I wanted to achieve was a part of that Olympic gold dream, and that gold medal represents making me proud, my family proud, and the University of Minnesota proud. The next challenge is obviously the UFC. I'm so excited to go out there and dominate.
The legacy of Gable Stevenson in MMA begins tonight.
I've always wanted to be a fighter. The main reason why I kind of turned to being a fighter was a guy named John Jones. Man, that's my dog. 100% my brother. He looks out for me. He takes care of me. He shows up to practice every day when it's needed. He puts all of his time and effort in me to show me the whole playbook that we have and show me everything that he did to be great. When I walk into the octagon, my label is Gable Stevenson, the wrestler. But I think after this fight, my label will be the all-around athlete that can go out there and punch, elbow, knee, kick, wrestle. That's what we aim for, and that's what John is bringing to the table for me. I think I want fans of UFC 329 to learn that this is a new specimen in the heavyweight division. This is the start of a big future for us, and this is the start of a long career for Gable Stevenson. This opportunity is monstrous, but if you know me, I always capitalize on big opportunities, and this one's going to be a great one for us. My goal in the UFC is to become champion, become a superstar, be the face of this promotion, and be the one that people remember as one of the greats. And that starts tonight.
What a career he has had in combat sports, and he's making his UFC debut tonight. Only 3-0 in mixed martial arts is Gable Stevenson, but man, I can't remember the last time we've had a prospect with this much expected. He's well-spoken. He seems ready for the spotlight. Dom, who does he remind you of in terms of, upon entry, somebody to be this excited about in the UFC?
Honestly, in my era, it was kind of like a Randy Couture. He doesn't have near the credential as Stevenson, though. And also, Ronda Rousey in the women's division. Right. She was a bronze medalist in the Olympics. Doesn't make her the top prospect, but it's like that's what I see as a comparable. But when you talk about Gable Stevenson, I think it's the speed and the way that he mixes up his boxing and his wrestling together. John Jones is obviously going to help him with that, but he's also a true heavyweight at 240 pounds. So he's got the power, the speed, he's got the full package with the size.
I'm telling you right now, this is the new version of Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar had like 2 fights, I think, before he came to the UFC, became the heavyweight champion. This man's had 3 fights, and he is the total package. He's not just a wrestler. The hand speed is ridiculous. One of his fights, he cracks him with a left hook, knocks him out. As the guy's falling down, he transitions to a double leg takedown. He is that fast. I spoke to him on Wednesday. Very, very articulate, and he doesn't want to take his time, doesn't want to slow roll. He wants big names next. He wants championship fights. He wants ranked guys. He wants it all.
Yeah, listen, if you go back and watch his college wrestling career, I can't really compare him to too many people. While he still had college eligibility, he won the Olympic gold in the heavyweight division. He is a prospect, I think, that we've never seen before. I could think of Brock Lesnar, I could think of Kayla Harrison, but this guy's coming into the UFC at 3-0, and it's not just because of his wrestling credentials. When you watch his fights that he's had so far, he has speed in his hands. He has this ability to drop somebody, and as they're falling to the ground, catch them into a double leg, slam them on their head, get the W, and then jump over the boxing ring ropes like a cat.
And he's such an athlete that he got signed to the Buffalo Bills without even really playing football. They're just like, yeah, we'll take that guy. Look what he's capable of. Yeah, man, he is the absolute real deal.
Yeah, he's definitely the #1 prospect.
Oh, I mean, the sky's the limit. We've had Olympic gold medalists, Kayla Harrison, Henry Cejudo. Division matters. If you're coming in as a UFC heavyweight contender and you can wear that strap and play that role as a superstar champion, that's a different stratosphere.
Yeah, 2-3 fights. He could be fighting for a belt. And let's also remember that he's being guided through his career by the one and only John Jones. So he's soaking up all of that advice, all of that experience, how to deal with these big moments as well, and how to prepare for these training camps.
And Bisping, that probably, I mean, you know this, it gives him confidence. Like when you're going with John Jones, let's say you do 5 rounds of sparring with John Jones, you're like, okay, I know what that feels like now. Who else feels like that? It's just, it builds your confidence. It lets you know, okay, I'll take the hardest guys in the division because I'm training with him.
Chance to prove it for the first time inside the octagon tonight for Gable Steveson in his UFC debut. Ryan Gandra, his second UFC fight comes tonight. His debut went well, took just a couple of minutes to get an impressive victory earlier this year in Mexico City. He takes on another fun fighter to watch out of Shiner, Texas, Zachary the Savage Reese. He knows he's not paid by the hour. Don't blink when the middleweights take center stage. Their fight number 2 tonight. Fans streaming in to T-Mobile Arena alongside the world-famous Las Vegas Strip. CBS's Nate Burleson sat down with Conor McGregor. We will bring that to you as our coverage continues on the day of UFC 329.
About it. Let's go.
Nobody's seen that coming.
Who's the gangster now? Family does not leave family behind.
You are a stone cold killer. I want success. Get it for me.
This life here is gonna work, isn't it?
We'll make it work.
We don't break ourselves in half to give you a better life.
Rip and Beth have secrets. People with secrets can be useful.
We need to be careful with this family.
Find out what they know, or it gets more complicated.
Family is the only thing worth fighting for. If either one of you want to walk, I won't hold it against you.
We'll be right next to you.
I've been so many places.
Life comes at you fast, whether you're ready for it or not. Everything has to come to an end.
I'm singing this song to you.
My center, my soul is gone.
The worry is what you do next.
Open your eyes.
Paramount Plus has a mountain of movies. Wow. New movies. Timeless movies. Guys who are running out of time movies. So get in on the latest blockbusters.
Trust me.
And we live the moments that get you every time.
And that's all I have to say about that.
A mountain of movies, now streaming on Paramount Plus.
The UFC 329 pre-show is presented by Buffalo Trace Bourbon, America's fastest growing bourbon. Well, he has a family, 4 children. He has all the fame you could want. He has all the fortune you could want. So why does Conor McGregor feel the need to fight? CBS's Nate Burleson sat down with Conor McGregor to ask him just that.
You have conquered this sport. You have been at the top. You have made millions inside and out of the octagon. Why return? What is this that is pulling you back into the game? Because most people will say, hey, Conor, just relax. Enjoy yourself. Enjoy the fruits of your labor.
Yeah, the thing is, my most relaxed state is in there. My most state of freedom is making that walk. You know, I yearn for competition. And at the core of it, I do this for fun. This is fun to me, to get in, compete against another able body in a live event, you know, ignite the passion of the fans and the entire ecosystem around the fight game. I enjoy it. I get great pleasure out of it. That's it. That's why I'm back. I'm back for the fun, for the thrill.
I can tell. Let's talk about this fight. You beat Max when you guys were younger. What do you respect about this version of who he is?
Max is a durable fighter with great skill. Not on my level, however. I am a level above. In fact, multiple levels above.
How so?
Skill-wise, mental-wise, physical-wise. We're at 170 pounds. There's a few facets into this. Max has been a busy body in the game. In fact, he's the most time spent inside the octagon, 8.5 hours, which is a staggering amount of time. For me, I kind of look at that saying, it means you can't finish people, you know? So, however, he's never fought at 170 pounds. This is a 170-pound bout.
And you believe that you're levels above him, but what's something that you're watching out for? What is one of Max's strengths?
You know, if you're asking me what I have above him, speed, power, IQ, fitness, health, freshness.
Conor, that's damn near everything.
You know, Max didn't lay a glove on me the last fight.
But Max is a different fighter now.
Is he? Is he really? I don't really see it. I don't see vast improvements. In fact, the improvements he made was after the fight he had with me, where he adopted some of my moves. But then what did he do? We went on to win the world title. So I sunned Max when I fought him last, and I plan on doing the same again in more devastating fashion.
All right, lastly, so this is the notorious one versus the blessed one, which is fitting yet ironic because Max has given us one of the most notorious knockouts in UFC history, and you have blessed us with so many moments. So the question that I have for Mystic Mac, as you like to call yourself, how does this one end?
It's going to be a demolition. It's going to be an absolute demolition. I know the damage he's taken. I know I will just have to touch him. And after that, it will be clinical. So to win alone is not just enough. It must be spectacular, and that it will be.
A demolition is the word. If you thought the confidence was gone after 5 years, it's not. Your thoughts on seeing Conor speak at length with Nate Burleson in that interview?
Guys, like every single time a fight gets announced for Conor McGregor, I'm like, I don't know, it's tough. And I think back to his Floyd Mayweather fight. When that fight first got announced, I'm like, you're fighting the greatest boxer of all time. You've never had a professional boxing fight. You're gonna get killed. And then as that fight got closer, I'm like, I don't know. Conor's bigger, he hits hard. I think he might have a chance. He has this ability to get you to believe in the things that he believes in, because I think he's really, truly genuine. And there are a lot of points that you're making that are true. He did sun Max in their last fight. There was one of the cards, he won by 30-26. He had a torn ACL, I think, starting in the second round, and still won on all three judges' scorecards. So he does have the right to believe in himself, but his belief is a different level.
He did the same thing to me because, you know, I'm leaning towards Max Holloway all day long, and then I saw him at the press conference the other day, and I'm like, oh, I don't know. He's back, and he seems pretty aggressive and dangerous. The fact that this is happening at 170 pounds, it is an immediate advantage for Conor McGregor in the early stages because he hits harder. He's going to have more power at 170 pounds. But if he gets out the first round, then he's going to start to slow down, and that extra weight is going to hurt him, and he's not going to be quite as quick. Is Max durable enough to take the shots to not get knocked out? Well, he was 13 years ago, so you got to think he probably will be this time.
The one gift that Conor does not give Max, because it sounds like it's not a gift, is his able to be a nail. Like, he can take some damage, and he's made a lot of people tired beating him up. And then once you're done beating him up, you take a breath, and he's right there in front of you. You're like, uh-oh, I'm out of gas. I just hit this guy with everything I have, and now he's still here, and he still keeps the same work rate. Max doesn't go up and down with his work rate. He keeps a constant pace the entire fight for 5 rounds, whereas Conor sprints the first 2, and then you see a big crash. We saw it against Nate Diaz, but that was a southpaw with the height. So we'll see how it goes, but I think that's what we're missing is can Max take the damage that Conor inflicts in the first and second round?
Well, the odds makers open Max Holloway as a minus 600 favorite. That has dropped steadily into today, where Max Holloway about a minus 200 favorite in this matchup with Conor McGregor. Even the odds makers forced to buy it, or the public is certainly forcing them to react to that. So we're very professional up here. Look at us with our shirts and ties and our suits and everything like that. Chris Weidman's still getting used to TV. This is just a moment ago. I'm trying to complete, Chris, I appreciate that, man. We're good enough friends where I'll let you into my shot on that every single time.
That Family Guy head, bro. That thing is big.
Peter Griffin, baby. Let's go.
I have a big head as well. Not as big as yours. It's tough
That's all I
sometimes.
did, guys. And it shouldn't be that close to this head.
Sometimes you got to get comfortable. Okay, much more to come. We're having a blast. We know you are too. It's fight day for UFC 329. We continue after a short break.
About it. Let's go.
Y'all gonna make me lose my mind. Up in here. Nobody's seen that coming. Y'all gonna make me.
Who's the gangster now? Family does not leave family behind.
Y'all gonna make me.
You are a stone cold killer.
1, 2, give me out down.
I want success. Get it for me.
This life here is gonna work, isn't it?
We'll make it work.
We don't break ourselves in half to give you a better life.
Rip and Beth have secrets. People with secrets can be useful.
We need to be careful with this family.
Find out what they know before it gets more complicated.
Family is the only thing worth fighting for. If either one of you want to walk, I won't hold it against you.
I'll be right next to you.
Life comes at you fast, whether you're ready for it or not. Everything has to come to an end.
I'm singing this song to you.
My center, my soul is gone.
The worry is what you do next.
Open your eyes.
Paramount Plus has a mountain of movies. Wow. New movies. Timeless movies. Guys who are running out of time movies. So get in on the latest blockbusters.
Trust me.
And we live the moments that get you every time.
And that's all I have to say about that.
A mountain of movies, now streaming on Paramount Plus.
The UFC 329 pre-show is presented by Buffalo Trace Bourbon, American-owned and proudly American-made. Back inside T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas with my cast of Hall of Famers, Dominic Cruz, Chris Weidman, Michael Bisping. I am Brendan Fitzgerald. A lot of talk about Conor McGregor this week and his return and what it means to the fight game and to Las Vegas. Some of the sights and sounds as Morgan Worth endured the sea of green to go out amongst the many Conor McGregor fans here in Sin City.
Thanks, guys. It has been 5 years since we've seen Conor McGregor in the UFC octagon. The Mac is officially back, and his fans have sure missed him. I am with Danny from Michigan. Now, did you travel all this way because Conor McGregor is back?
It's the only reason we booked this trip in the first place. Watch Conor McGregor knock out Max Holloway.
He's the GOAT. There's nobody better than him. He's the best of the best.
I think the Mac is back. I mean, I know like a lot of people are doubting, but like I think Max goes down in 2.
You look like a Conor fan.
Oh, huge. What gave it away? Gonna put them big Irish paws in your face, yeah?
That was
first round KO, mark my words.
Shut your mouth, you'll do none, you fool, yeah.
Conor Max.
Conor.
Therese Finney in the house, Conor Max.
Oh, I'm going with Max.
Who the is that guy? Who the is that?
It's been 5 years since we've seen the Mac in the octagon. What version of Conor do you think shows up on Saturday?
Aldo Conor. He's knocking him out first round right away.
You gotta do the walk.
Lil just got it.
Conor McGregor's a really good fighter.
Why do you think he's so good?
Because he's very kind and he's a good sport.
Surprise, surprise, as the king is back.
may the best man win, Conor. and hopefully it could lead to bigger and better things like regaining his championship belt.
Are you going to do this or what?
Let's do it.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Why are you a fan of Conor McGregor?
I just think he's the face of the fight game. He's the most exciting fighter there is.
Conor or Max?
Let's go, McGregor, baby! I want to say something. McGregor, baby! All day, McGregor! Listen, Max!
All right, cuz. Hey, Conor McGregor set some glass of that head. He shoved him. Hey, Matt, Conor's talking about it 2. Patty's talking about it 1. Hey, let's go.
Well, you heard it from the fans themselves. They're all so excited for the return of Conor McGregor, the Notorious. This is Tate. He'll tape his hands on Saturday. Guys, back to you.
Oh, Morgan, thanks very much. You never know what you're going to get from the UFC fans or Cutman Tate for that matter. Conor McGregor, in terms of pay-per-view buys in the pay-per-view era, 8 of the top 10 pay-per-views have had Conor McGregor at the top of them, including the top 7. Only Brock Lesnar and Amanda Nunes, her matchup with Ronda Rousey at number 10, were the non-Conor McGregor ones. This guy is box office gold, Michael, in the fight game.
Look at that response from the fans there. That's why this event here tonight is happening, because people just lose their mind when Conor McGregor is fighting. As we said before, we can feel it in the building. People are starting to come in now. Everyone is so excited. It's such a big story. And of course, yeah, he's the pay-per-view king. No one comes anywhere close.
And if you start allowing yourself to believe in Conor McGregor and believe that he can get it done tonight, the possibilities of what's next are just enormous for the UFC, for Conor McGregor, just for the sport. So it's very exciting, just as a fight fan, even not as a Conor McGregor fan, the possibilities that could come out of this.
The thing about Conor is he's the movie star that everybody loves that can actually fight. So you've got the Jake Gyllenhaal going in there pretending to be a fighter. He can actually do it, and he can also actually try to act. He's not as good of an actor as he is a fighter. But let's be honest, this guy is the guy everybody wants to see. When you watch the fans, it's the antics, it's the way that he moves, it's the things he says outside of the octagon that make people love him. It's not just the way that he fights. And that's the difference. Us fighters, some of us best fighters, we're the best fighters in the world. But he has a little mixture of both, and you got to be all of that in order to get the fans' attention and love.
And the top 7 pay-per-views and 8 of the top 10, but I have to point out, lucky for you all at home, Paramount Plus, you just get it. No pay-per-view, that era is in the past, but he's still going to bring big numbers. And it turns out that all these Irish accents you've been hearing at the hotel, not necessarily people from Ireland, right? They love to imitate the greatest star in the sport. Of course, he was such a boost for Ireland. He inspired a generation. We have Ian Machado Gary fighting from Ireland for a UFC championship next month in Philadelphia. But in terms of fighters for their countries and the impacts that they've had, Chris, I wonder what names come to mind for you in terms of what they haven't done what Conor McGregor's done, but in that vein of things.
Well, I have Conor at number 1, and I think that's a no-brainer. Yeah, like I said earlier in the show, even if you had a speckle of Irish in your blood, all of a sudden you were so proud to be Irish. You had the Irish flag in your car. I'm 50% Irish. I became 100% Irish when Conor came onto the scene. And then I got Bisping. Bisping, the first English world champion. He had the accent. He had the gift of gab. He told you a lot of trash. He got people excited.
He still has the accent.
I'm getting to that. I mean, it's a list from the top to the bottom. And then great skill as well.
Yeah, it's okay.
I got Merab Dvalishvili. When you see videos of him going back to his country and the love that these people have for him, it's amazing. It's really incredible. We have Khabib Nurmagomedov. He's from Dagestan. That Dagestan, I think it's a state or a province of Russia, but Dagestan, he put them on the map. They were known for their wrestling, but now they're known for their fighters. And the level of guys that have came out of Dagestan since Khabib is really because of Khabib's presence. And then last on my list, which, I mean, she could be number 2, really. Zhong Wei Li. it's got the most people in the world in China, and she was the first world champion for them, and the people love her.
I was the first one to send my list in, but I don't get to go first.
Oh.
Yeah. Listen, you got to have Zhang Weili on there. She's the Chinese champion. Literally put it on the map. You got to talk about Georges Pierre. Okay, are you intoxicated? One of the greatest welterweights of all time, probably the greatest, and obviously he's Canadian. McGregor's got to be number one. I mean, come on, people were not talking about Ireland as a fighting. Boxers, yes. Mixed martial arts, not so much. And now everyone's claiming to be Irish. My mum is Irish, has an Irish accent, but I'm true to my roots, bro. I'm English, and I put the country on the map, so I got to put myself on there at number 3. We got Zhang Weili, Robert Whittaker. He's the first guy that really put Australia on the map. There was Elvis Sinisic before him. Yes, there's Alexander Volkanovski, but Robert Whittaker becoming the champion, he was the guy. Have I missed anyone, Dom?
No, you missed this, though. You said at the White House 250 card that you were American.
Hey, listen.
Now you're back to being English.
Ooh,
that's a fact. That's real.
76,
Yeah,
bro.
that's
Let's
real.
go.
There goes that citizenship.
Dom, I wonder who's. Did we hit everybody, Dom? Who's on your list there that we didn't get to?
We got. I don't know. I'd have to see the list. I don't remember how I did it. They didn't put it up there for me. They put it up there for Michael. They knew he couldn't remember it.
Oh, don't get offended, Dom.
I'm trying.
Hey, nice job there at number 3. Let's go over
So
Brandon
obviously
Moreno.
you got to go with Conor because I'm
Yes,
going to
of
say
course.
that obviously because you saw the pay-per-views. I mean, he's number 1 for their country. But Moreno, obviously from Mexico, he's really stood up. He's the first champion that's really just held it down for Mexico. When I look at Khabib, you think about his country. When you think about wrestling, you think about, go to Kazakhstan and leave him there for however long, what, a year, whatever they say, and you can come back and wrestle.
Oh, yeah, Dagestan, yes.
Dagestan, excuse me. And then Zhang Weili. For China, that's what you picture. You picture somebody that can go out there and just do her job, and that's the spinning attacks, all the crazy stuff that she does in the fights has really represented her country very well. And Alexander Volkanovski, I mean, all I can see is his cooking show and his accent.
Yes,
and everything.
cooking with Volk.
Yeah, cooking with
You
Volk.
just couldn't do it. You just couldn't do it, could you, Dom? You couldn't give me some credit. Couldn't put me on the list.
They didn't give me that in the list. Blame the producers on that one.
No Brazilian.
Besides, I really did think you were American.
Let me cut the tension here. Why don't we have any Americans on there? Come on, America, get behind your guys.
It's an American sport, let's be honest.
No, what American would the fans get behind?
I don't know.
I mean, Chuck Liddell.
Justin Gaethje.
Liddell's good.
Justin Gaethje.
Now,
Gaethje now, but it was propelled forward by those
Steven
in the past.
Seagal.
Great list, everybody.
Tito Ortiz.
Nobody has what Conor has done. Hey, we're going to keep it going to the top of the hour when the fights begin. How about Mackenzie Dern? She's got a championship fighter of her own coming up at UFC 330 in Philadelphia. A visit with the strawweight champion and some predictions on what might go down at UFC 329 when we continue. Stay with us.
Right about it. Let's go.
Y'all gonna make me lose my mind. Up in here. Nobody's seen that coming. Y'all gonna make me.
Who's a gangster now? Family does not leave family behind.
Y'all gonna make me happy.
You are a stone cold killer.
1, 2, hit me outside.
I want success. Get it for me.
This life here is gonna work, isn't it?
We'll make it work.
We don't break ourselves into have to give you a better life.
Rip and Beth have secrets. People with secrets can be useful.
We need to be careful with this family.
Find out what they know before it gets more complicated.
Family is the only thing worth fighting for. If either one of you want to walk, I won't hold it against you.
I'll be right next to you.
I've been so many places.
Life comes at you fast, whether you're ready for it or not. Everything has to come to an end.
I'm singing this song to you.
My center, my soul is gone.
The worry is what you do next.
Open your eyes.
Paramount Plus has a mountain of movies. Wow. New movies. Timeless movies. Guys who are running out of time movies. So get in on the latest blockbusters.
Trust me.
And relive the moments that get you every time.
And that's all I have to say about that.
A mountain of movies, now streaming on Paramount Plus.
Hundreds of years ago, the great buffalo carved a trace through this land. And we at Buffalo Trace have been honoring their spirit ever since. With raw power, with independence, barrel by barrel, bringing people together, American-owned and proudly American-made. Buffalo Trace Bourbon for the perfectly untamed.
Our coverage of UFC 329 continues. Conor McGregor's return, his first fight since 2021, when he takes on Max Holloway in a rematch 13 years in the making. A star-studded main card coming up later tonight on Paramount Plus. 15 minutes to the top of the hour and fight action here in Las Vegas. For more, we send it down Octagon side to two men on the mic, John Anik, Daniel Cormier. Fellas.
All right, John and Daniel Cormier on the base of the Octagon. How do you follow up UFC Freedom 250? You trot out Conor McGregor for the first time in 5 years.
That's unbelievable. Listen, when we left Washington, D.C., we had no idea what would come for the rest of the summer. Sure, Conor was on paper supposed to be here, but the moment you get here, it's different. When you get the fight week and Conor McGregor's involved, it just feels different. And while you leave Washington going, I don't know if this could ever be topped. This week, it finally feels like at least something matches it, fight-wise.
There are a lot of storylines on the Max Holloway side, of course, right? Moving up to 170 pounds. There are even more of them on the Conor McGregor side. So many variables surrounding his return. But in terms of what you have seen from him this week and what you have heard from him this week, I know you're encouraged.
Everything's been perfect. I mean, it feels like Conor McGregor has been filled with gratitude. Yeah. Right, John? From the fighter meeting. We're sitting there, and he's on the call with us, and he's talking about how gracious he is to be here, how excited he is to be back in the game. The game's better when Conor McGregor is here. We've seen the training footage. He looks good. Yeah. We have seen his demeanor. It seems good. It seems like everything is in place for Conor McGregor to at least put himself in position to have a vintage performance.
And for Max Holloway, it's all in front of him. He's had so many big moments in his career, and another one in front of him here tonight against Conor McGregor. All right, co-main event, Paddy Pimblett, Benoit Saint-Denis, essentially a pick'em fight on paper. Huge implications at 55. How do you see it playing out?
Well, this is a massive fight, right? Paddy Pimblett just came out of an interim title fight with Justin Gaethje where he had moments and fought very, very well. He feels encouraged by the result of Washington, D.C. after that. But Benoit Saint-Denis has been on an absolute tear. Look, Benoit Saint-Denis was wearing an AP watch. Normally you buy an AP watch, you get a beautiful watch. His is covered in camouflage. This dude is an absolute savage when he stepped inside the octagon and in life. I was surprised at how big Benoit looked when him and Paddy stood next to each other at the press conference. This guy's a monster, and this definitely will be a fantastic fight between two tremendous mixed martial artists.
And really two of the toughest customers in one of the UFC's deepest, most ruthless divisions, 155 pounds. We're going to save the rest of our bullets for later. Guys, take it away.
Please do. Have a great call tonight. We know it will be memorable. Memorable to have Mackenzie Dern join us on the pre-show. Thank you, Mackenzie.
Thank you.
Looking stunning. My goodness.
Thank you.
It's a big fight night.
The assistant coach on season 34 of The Ultimate Fighter.
Team Bisping.
Thank you, Mackenzie. Thank you.
From the Jason Perillo Galaxy of Stars. How about that?
Well, Mackenzie, Olive.
Congratulations, Mackenzie. You're sitting as the strawweight champion after you won it in October. What has life been like for you since winning that championship belts?
I mean, it's definitely changed 100%. You're like, all these opportunities, you know, you live life as a champion, you know. I mean, before you're trying to, you know, live the correct life, but once all the eyes are on you and you feel like a champion and you are the champion, you're like, no, I got to live life like a champion now. So just, I've always tried to be a great role model for my daughter, but now just walking on the streets and everything you try to, you know, working with fundraisers and charities and just giving back and trying to use your title now for even a bigger purpose, because I think being a champion was kind of, you know, your own personal goal, but once you reach that, then you kind of want to just, reach more people.
Pay it forward.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, Mackenzie, you are a good role model to your daughter. You should be so proud of yourself. The way that you carry yourself, you haven't let any of the fame or attention go to your head. On The Ultimate Fighter, you were so nice and so gracious. But of course, you got a fight coming up. I can see you training. The arms are looking jacked. Talk to me about your first title defense against Jillian Robertson.
Ooh, I'm so excited for this. I mean, my fight was October 25th, so I mean, it's almost about a year. We didn't know who we were going to be fighting for that first title defense, so when they gave me Jillian Robertson, she's on a five fight win streak, but her being a grappler, super excited. I won the belt against Virna Jandiroba, who was also on a win streak, so I'm feeling comfortable, not like it's going to be easy. I think it's going to be hard, but I definitely prefer someone who wants to close the distance, and I prefer that than someone that I have to chase the whole time, and so I'm excited for it.
I'm sure your goal for a long time was to become a UFC champion, and now you have done it. How have your goals now changed in terms of the sport for yourself moving forward?
Well, now I'm kind of starting to try to break records, So, I mean, of course, being a champion, that's already kind of like one in very few. But then you start seeing the posts and, the most submission wins in the strawweight division, the most submission wins in all of UFC, try to catch up to Charles Oliveira, and the guys. I think I'm number 2 or 3 with the most wins in strawweight division out of all the girls. So try to get the most wins out of all the girls and just try to break records and, eventually be like a Hall of Famer, and that's the goal. Yeah, and make money for sure.
Mackenzie, a lot of times you see high-level grapplers when they know they're facing each other, they end up turning it into a stand-up match. Is there any universe that you see yourself showing how good purely your striking is, using your takedown defense to make it a striking battle for the fans?
I mean, even though I won my title match against Virna, I think I was taken down like almost 10 times, So I definitely want to just kind of prove that I'm getting better as a champion. I don't want to get taken down as many times, and I do think that Jillian has a more anti-game, I don't think she'll take down and stand back up. I think she'll take down and she'll steal the rounds and she'll hug me and, ground and pound. So I definitely don't want to be on the ground. I mean, I don't mind being on the ground with her, but I don't want to be in a bad position with her. So I'm working my takedown defense. I want to be able to beat her up on the striking. But I also too would like to submit her too.
Mackenzie, let me ask you, when you first came to the UFC, there was a lot of pressure on you. You were brought in and touted as, this champion. So when you finally did that, when you became the champion, was that like such a feeling of relief to live up to that potential?
I think the most attention that I had was like, the next Ronda Rousey, So I knew from the beginning I was never going to be a Ronda Rousey. I mean, just very different personalities, very different styles. She was a big, inspiration for me to get into the sport. But I always knew that I was going to have a different journey than that. But I think just going through it and learning on the spot and having all that attention and people, I mean, obviously the UFC saw the potential in me before I even saw it in myself. I had never even thrown a punch before, so I had to learn that. But going through injuries and surgeries and pregnancy and getting people, missing weight and people saying, oh, she's never going to be a champion. Once I did get the belt, I was like, see, a champion is not just, the one that has this perfect path, it's the one that, Ronda Rousey was submitting everyone all the way until the belt, so the champion is the, that goes through adversity. So I definitely felt like, yes, I showed them.
And, your jiu-jitsu is world class. You really haven't been in the octagon with somebody who really could test your jiu-jitsu to a level. Does Jillian Robertson bring a jiu-jitsu game that could test your jiu-jitsu? Where do you put her in the hierarchy of jiu-jitsu and compared to you?
That's a hard question. No, that's such a hard question. It's a hard question. It's a hard question because jiu-jitsu to jiu-jitsu, I don't think that there's a comparison. But MMA, obviously you have 5 minutes. You don't have, 10-minute rounds. And then you have, the judges can choose for being more active. So I do think she's dangerous. From what I hear, she has good pressure. So it's definitely, I think she's going to be someone that can test. She's not going to be someone who's easy to sweep. When Amanda Rivas, I was able to sweep and get arm bars and just attack from the bottom. I don't think Jillian's going to have that. She was a 125er who came down to 115. But I do know that I have a lot of submissions up my sleeve, and I don't think she has that in her to defend all of those. So I think jiu-jitsu, even for jiu-jitsu for MMA, I'm jumping off the cage and doing kimuras and doing crazy stuff. So I think that's gonna, even though it's MMA, but I think my jiu-jitsu creativity will help me win this fight against her.
Mackenzie, you're no stranger to enjoying the fights as a fan. We see you at some of these big events. What do you take from an event like this with Conor McGregor, with your fight on the horizon in just a month?
Oh, I always love to come to the events because it always gives me inspiration for my fights. You know, it gives you that, you know, just seeing the vibe and the fans, you know, it gives you motivation. You're like, yeah, everyone enjoys what we do. And you see it up close, and you see all these amazing fighters and what they go through for their camps and how they win and lose. And it just kind of connects you to that and gets you more ready for when your fight comes up, you know. So it's good for me. I like it.
Can't wait to see you in action. But of course, first we have a giant UFC 329 to cap off International Fight Week. We're going to get predictions. You're included in this too, Mackenzie. We're playing TV analyst today. We'll start with Dom Cruz, and we're going to go through the entire main card as King Green against Terrence McKinney. A couple of fight finishers at lightweight lead the proceedings when the main card begins. Dom,
all these picks are hard to go with, but I'm going to go with King Green on this one. He's my guy. I think that being hard to hit and getting past the first round is going to give him an advantage.
Chris Weidman, we'll go to you next. King Green, Terrence McKinney.
I'm going King
Mackenzie
Green.
gets to go last. She gets to see what all you guys pick.
Okay.
Take your analysis.
Ladies
Put the pressure on you. Don't worry. I'm going King Green. I just think he's on a huge streak right now, 3 wins in a row. Looked great in his last fight against Jeremy Stevens. He fights with his hands down, but he does a great job at seeing the punches coming and be able to counter strike. And McKinney makes a lot of mistakes, so I'm going Green.
Yeah, there is a world where King Green gets knocked out in spectacular fashion. It's going to be dangerous early, but I think he gets through that initial period, weathers the storm, and King Green walks away the winner.
Who wins, Mackenzie? What do you think?
Come on, champ.
Welcome to our life.
I mean, I think
for you online.
You know what? Just because you guys all went with Bobby, I'm gonna go with Terrence. Yeah, I think. I mean, I like to go for that. I mean, it's such a big vibe in here, and it's a big event, and I think he'll show up for it, and I think he'll be able to land a shot.
All right, we'll go quickly around the horn on Brandon Royval, Lonnie Kavanaugh, top 10 flyweights.
I'm gonna go with Lonnie on this one. I think his sharpshooter, his power is gonna follow him through and get the win.
Chris, who do you got at flyweight?
I'm going Brandon Royval. I think the size difference actually means a lot, and the level of competition that he has.
Lonnie Kavanaugh will be a champion one day. He wins tonight.
What do you think?
I'm gonna go with Brandon Royval. I'm a huge fan of his, and I agree with him. The reach and everything.
Split 2-2 across the board. Sandhagen and Bautista, top 10 contenders at bantamweight later tonight.
This one was super hard for me because I know these guys well. I studied them, and I'll go with Bautista in this one. I think he gets it back. I think that the wrestling mixed in is going to make a difference for him, especially if he can get him on the fence.
A rematch between these two 7 years after their first meeting.
I was actually gonna go Sandhagen. This is the hardest one for me, but I think Dom just talked me into Bautista.
Wow,
I think Bautista gets it done. Man, he looked great in his last fight. I'm going Bautista.
Yeah, this is a tough one to pick. Very, very evenly matched up, but I gotta go with Corey Sandhagen. I just think the height, the footwork, the reach, I think that gets it done for him.
Yeah, and I know both of them too really well from Arizona, and then I'm good friends with Corey too. So I'm with Corey. I think he's got it. I think his reach, and he has such creativity. I think he's gonna come out on top. Yep.
Paddy the Baddy's last outing was in this very building to begin the Paramount era against Justin Gaethje. What a headliner it was. He showed a new side of himself, the grit, the toughness, all 5 rounds against the now lightweight champion. Does he have enough to get past Benoit Saint-Denis, who has finished all 17 of his wins?
Definitely has enough, but I don't think he does it. I think BSD gets it done. I think he can pressure him, head him off, not follow him, and really wear him out with a non-stop offense in the grappling.
Yeah, I'm going Paddy Pimblett. I think his awkward style on the feet, his granite chin, his heavy hands, and then his jiu-jitsu, I think it ends up becoming too much.
Scousers don't get knocked out. We know this. He's going to get a takedown. He's going to get on top, and he's going to drive down some elbows. Paddy gets it done.
Yeah, I think Paddy too. I think he's confident, especially seeing Justin with Ilya, you know, and I think he's going to come out strong.
We'll see if it earns him another crack at the title. It all leads to a 170-pound main event between Conor McGregor and Max Holloway. When they met the first time, they were young, budding prospects in 2013 with big fight dreams. They have fulfilled those. Conor's become the biggest star the sport's ever known. Max Holloway looks to upset his return and spoil that party in Las Vegas. Who wins the main event event tonight, Dom?
I want to go with Conor because I see how dangerous he is in the first 2 rounds. But as a guy who's gone through so many injuries and had to come back, I know how hard it is. I'm going to go with Max Holloway because of the time off and because of the injuries and stuff that Conor's gone through outside the octagon.
I've never been closer. We're going with Conor on this fight because as a fight comes, it pulls you in that direction. But I'm going Max Holloway. I'm going with White Eye Zone.
Conor's going to be dangerous early. It's going to be very dangerous for Max, but he's going to get through that first round. Then he's going to wear him down. He's going to beat him down, and he's going to force Conor to quit in round 4.
Quit.
Mackenzie, who wins the main event? We got Conor McGregor, Max Holloway. You get the last word.
Oh my gosh. I mean, I just think Max has been doing so good, but I'm seeing 5 years is a long time to be off, and to come back. But I think that Conor's gonna seeing Max against Charles Oliveira and how he got taken down for the BMF title belt. I feel like Conor's gonna mix it up and get some takedowns and win.
Wow, she's picking the underdog, the returning Conor McGregor. Mackenzie, best of luck in the final stretches of your fight camp at UFC 330 coming up for a title in August. Conor McGregor, Max Holloway, our main event tonight. Thank you so much for joining us on this 2-hour edition of a pre-show for UFC 329. For Dom, Chris, Michael Bisping, I'm Brendan Fitzgerald. Enjoy the fights, ladies and gentlemen.
You want to fight about it? Let's go.
Y'all gonna make me lose my mind. Up in here, nobody's seen that coming. Y'all gonna make me.
Who's the gangster now?
Family does not leave family behind.
Y'all gonna make me happy.
You are a stone cold killer.
1, 2, baby,
I want success. Get it for me.
Good morning and happy Saturday. Thanks for joining us for a fresh hour of CBS Sports HQ. Suda Upadhyaya here with you on a day that will see the return of the biggest star in UFC history. We've got a couple of World Cup quarterfinal matches to preview as well, along with the WNBA on CBS. But we start with UFC 329 set to go down in Las Vegas. Conor McGregor versus Max Holloway, Part 2. It's a rematch